Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of In My Cousin's Basement. I am your co-host with the most, Tim Patrick, and with me always is my Destro to me being Covert Commander, my hetero life mate, Randu.
What's up?
Same shit, different pals, my friend. How are you?
Doing good, man.
Good.
What was that intro about? I don't know what the fuck that was.
Cobra Commander, Destro?
No, what is that?
You don't know what that is?
Mm.
You are. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Literally beat the living shit out of you.
Cobra Commander.
G.I. Joe, motherfucker.
I don't remember that.
What?
It sounded like G.I. Joe in my head, but I just don't remember.
Yeah, Cobra Commander was the bad guy, the head bad guy. Destro was his right hand man.
Was it the guy that was all gray and black?
That he was blue and black and somewhat silver, and Destro had the metal face.
I kind of
'Cause he
remember
burned
it.
it. It
I
got
remember.
burned.
I mean, I was huge into GI Joe when I was a kid, but you got to remember when I was into GI Joe, I was like 4, 5, 6. You know, like
True.
that's
I was too, but
that's
still.
31 years ago or something like that. That's fucking a long time for my brain. I mean, I haven't watched anything GI Joe since. I haven't kept
Watch
up
the
with
movies. The movies are good. If you like the Transformer movies, you'll like it.
Isn't
The Rock's in the second one.
The Rock is in the first one? I thought I remember Jean-Claude Van Damme being it, but that's Street Fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, that was Street Fighter.
Yeah, and he would have been good in GI Joe. Actually, I
Yeah.
think he would have been a good GI Joe guy.
Actually, no, I don't think he wasn't in Street Fighter. I don't think.
You sure?
Yeah, he wasn't. He was in. He was supposed to have been in Mortal Kombat because he could do the splits and like Johnny Cage's punch thing, or whatever. He
I
wasn't.
swear to God, I thought he was in Street Fighter. He had that big ass fucking arm, and he had like he had the tattoo with the flag on his arm, or whatever. I'm almost positive he did it.
You're thinking of the guy who played Ryu, but no, I don't think it was him.
Okay. Either way,
Yeah, but yeah, it was GI Joe reference because I've been wanting on looking at GI Joes on.
well, they're huge right now.
Random shit.
Like,
Yeah.
if there's anybody who's into nostalgic toys, and my mom looks for this stuff all the time, GI Joes and the Ninja Turtles are still
Yeah.
super popular. I don't know what it is. I think Ninja Turtles are making a comeback with the
Actually, they
younger
are
generation.
because them and He-Man, because there is a cross. They've been doing crossover toys lately. Like they've been doing Teenage Mutant Turtles with He-Man. So basically, like you can get like a Super Shredder with all buffed up,
Yeah.
with like badass looking spikes and stuff like that. You can get Donatello with him all buffed up and whatever, just like a He-Man kind of character.
Yeah. You know, I didn't know this, and my neighbor down the street, Tommy, he told me about this because he reads a lot of books, and he actually read one of these. I think Brandon actually
Is
told me
that
too.
Lincoln's Top Dog?
Yeah, that's top G, number one top G. He told me that there's a book about the about the Ninja Turtles, and it's the one where like all the Ninja Turtles get killed, and like Donatello's the only one that's still alive, and he's like a dark Ninja Turtle, and he actually goes around and kills people and does shit.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Yeah, he's the Ronin, last
the
Ronin.
Ronin. Yeah, the last
Yeah,
Ronin. Yeah,
yeah, I
okay.
heard about that.
That's pretty cool. So apparently they want to make it into a movie. They were talking about at one time, or a TV show. But I think they're making a video game about it too.
Cool.
Is what I heard.
Yes, John Claude Van Damme was Guile. So my bad, you were right.
I knew it. I remember seeing that as a kid. Whatever, when he was fucking just
Raul
jacked.
Julia was in Bison. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I know all about that.
Yeah, it's old school, right?
Hell yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's when I was a kid. It was when was that? 90s? What 90 what?
94.
94. I knew it. It was like right around the time that Mortal Kombat was huge too. They made those like video game movies were starting to become like a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't it? It was like two biggest fighting games, if not the biggest fighting game, was definitely
That was more
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, those two went back and forth really.
Yeah.
And don't forget Tekken was good too.
I mean, Tekken was too, but they didn't have any movies. I just meant,
Yeah.
just at the time in the 90s,
Right.
that was like, Tekken was more really the biggest fighting game,
Yeah.
but more the arcade style of art.
Which one is still around? Mortal Kombat.
That's true. I think Tekken's still around. Those kind of games are still around.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a huge, like, if you ever watch Twitch and that kind of stuff, me and Brandon watch it once in a while. Like, Super Smash Brothers, huge into the fighting world, right? It's one of the biggest fighting games that is still out there that people
Right.
play. Mortal Kombat's obviously still out there, and people do tournaments and shit. And then you got Street Fighter still, and I think there's a Tekken game out there too. But I don't know which one's the most popular, but there's people that still play it. And you're going to find this hilarious because I didn't know this for a while, and this isn't me being racist. This is the real is what it is. There's a huge movement with, like, black people who are super into fighting games, and like they're some of the
Oh,
best,
yeah.
and they're some of the best ones at it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's not ruled by Asian kids or white kids or anything else. Like,
Yeah.
some of the best players in those fighting games are black kids. I don't know what it is. I've watched them, and they're fucking good, dude.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're just great. They're
I
just great.
believe it.
So it's kind of weird because you never see like a black community of like playing video games, right?
Right.
Like they're always playing sports or doing something else. Like, so watch them play video games, you're like, what's going on here? Like, I didn't know this was a thing. And then I watched it. I'm like, wow, these guys are all fucking really good.
Cool.
So anytime you're on Twitch, you want to watch it. They're always on there playing tournaments.
There's black nerds. There's Nerdum doesn't have any kind of color.
Yeah, no, I know that. I know that. It's not me being racist or anything. It was surprising. I was like, wow, because in the nerd community, especially in that community, it's a lot of white kids or a lot of Asian kids or whatever that are really dominant. So it's just what it was. I was like, I wasn't expecting that, but like, yeah, Super Smash, all that. It's really cool to see.
Sweet.
All right, so I'm gonna jump into our topics here. I think the first one we're talking about is, since I don't think we've done a Thanksgiving podcast, anything about any topics about Thanksgiving
I think
ever.
we did traditions. I don't think we did Thanksgiving.
Traditions probably, but I don't think that was more Christmas and Halloween traditions. We haven't done a Thanksgiving one.
Oh, we could do one.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about it, kiddies, folks. Don't stay scared. Stay scared.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving as a kid versus an adult. That's one of my topics.
I used to love it as a child because I could see family members I'd never really get to see much. I mean, how you're when you're little, you see everybody in your family all the time, but as you get older, you don't see them as much at all, hardly at all.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, you see them pretty much every holiday, Easter, Christmas, shit like that. So I kind of liked it better when I was littler because we had more family I could see more often.
It's a double-edged sword for me.
Food, God damn you.
So it's funny.
I'm gonna beat you with your double-edged sword.
I know. So the way I look at it is, and I think most people would agree with me on this, and maybe not. I don't know. It's probably both ways with like your way too. So it's probably that's why I said that is when I was a kid, I didn't really like Thanksgiving that much for a couple of reasons. One, it was boring to me. Now, it was cool seeing all my cousins and seeing all my family or whatever, and you would get jumped from house to house, or like your two grandma's houses or whatever.
Yeah,
you had,
right. Your mom's side, your dad's side, yeah.
Yep. And you'd go there and you'd eat a bunch of food, but guess what? The food they had there when you were a kid, it was adult food. Like you weren't, it wasn't kid food. Like, and you're like, what is this shit? Like all this gourmet shit that they're cooking.
Casseroles.
And people are fucking loving it. And, and to me, I didn't realize until I became an adult, but Thanksgiving is an adult holiday.
Oh yeah,
it's not a kid holiday.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I didn't really enjoy it. Like you get dressed up.
You didn't want to.
Yeah, you wear these really nice clothes.
Yeah, you couldn't get them dirty.
No, couldn't get them dirty, and you had to be there pronto for pictures and all this stuff, whatever. And and you had to go to church if you guys you're
had to
in
watch
church
football with the adults, and you like football.
So the way I always realized it was like it wasn't focused on usually the kid like Christmas or Halloween.
Right.
So like to me it was like this stupid ass holiday. I want to do it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But as I became an adult, I'm like. I like Thanksgiving. I like
you gotta fix the food though. That's the problem.
Yeah, you gotta fix the food. You gotta. So there's two sides to this too. It could be a double-edged sword. Because when you're a kid, you get to enjoy it. Like you get to sit down, and enjoy, relax, eat the food, not do anything. Like as an adult, if you're hosting, worst holiday to host. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
This is the most stressful out of all of them. I think some people say Christmas is, but
no.
The food preparation, the dinner plans, getting everybody ready, the appetizers, cleaning everything
Relying
up.
on people to bring stuff.
Relying on people to bring stuff.
Especially ice.
Ice.
Run out of ice.
Everyone's got to bring their own beer and all their own stuff because no one can provide their own drinks and everything.
The uncle who can't drink soda, so you got to drink diet or tea.
Yeah, and then you got depending on how many people you're in a family. Now, my grandma Grandma Van had the house, and we would have 50 to 70 people for Thanksgiving.
And you could barely fit 20 people in that house.
Yeah, and she would come over and do it all. And then when she got older, she got smart because she had a catering business. She would hire caterers in to cook everything and clean everything up.
And she had damn good food.
Oh my God, her food was fucking.
Macaroni casserole. Oh God, dude.
Still some of the best. Now Ashley makes it, and she makes it so good. My sister.
God damn it.
And
huh? That's how you talk to her.
Yeah, it's actually really easy to make. It's like you take like a brick of Velveeta cheese and like some and you put it like in a pot with the noodles and do something. You bake it and then put the breadcrumbs on top of it and make me fucking hungry thinking about it.
I know, right?
Yeah. So anyway, that's why it's different for me as a kid. But I'd say it's something I remember from King of Queens. Do you ever watch King of Queens? Yeah. Do you remember the quote where he's like, "Yeah, the 3 F's: family, football, and food, or whatever." And, he's drinking the 3 B's from whatever else it is. I was like, that's actually pretty funny. Like I totally forgot about that quote, but when I was a kid and I was watching, I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. But that's right, it is. That's what it's about: family, food, and fucking football. That's what everyone watches.
Yeah.
Now I watch football with my family's this time, whatever, and we ate food or whatever. And it's enjoyable for like the first game, or maybe there's a good game, but it gets fucking old. Like it's sitting there. By the time you get there and you watch one football game, and by the end of the night, you're on your third football game. It's like all you want to do is go home and go to bed.
Yeah.
You know,
You've ate so much fucking turkey that that shit makes you good tired anyway,
mm-hmm.
and then you get bored because everybody's talking about the same. Their kids are doing this, their kids are doing that, or you know, my it's like I don't care. Leave me alone. Those people aren't here. Why are we talking about them?
That and just by the end of the night, everyone's sloppy, wasted, and shit after eating all their food, and all they want to do is have seconds and everything else. Or you've been there. This is your second house you've been to.
It's funny. They sometimes they want seconds, but they don't want to take anything home with them. So you're stuck with all the food.
My mom is so insane about it now. Like it's just part of the tradition or whatever. When we eat Thanksgiving food, if whatever we eat, we have way more food than we'd ever have to feed anybody. Like, you know, who are we feeding this food to? My mom, but she wants it all. And by the end of the night, she buys Tupperwares herself, like decorative ones, and she'll write all of our names on it. And she puts all the food in there and says, "Here you go." And there's no saying, "No, Mom, I'm not taking it." So whatever, I take it and say whatever, because my mom worked her ass off to cook all the food or whatever. Right. So, or my sister did, or whoever else did to help. And by the end of the night,
not Sarah.
That's she actually did cook some food this time and do some stuff. Yeah, that's cool. But traditionally, no, it wasn't her. But now it is that she's in town and stuff, and she cooks from her boyfriend's house or whatever. But anyway,
yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was a good Thanksgiving. It went by super quick. It was probably the fastest Thanksgiving I've ever been to, because I didn't go. And here's the other great thing about it was we didn't go to 4 houses this time. Like when me and Laura started dating, it was like go to her mom and dad's, and then her grandma and grandpa's, and then my mom and dad's, and then like our grandma and grandpa's, and it's like I don't want to go to 4 Thanksgiving ever again. Right. You know. So we went down to 2. And this year we had we'll just have everybody at one house, and we did that the year before and the year before. So we went down to just one Thanksgiving. I'm like, this is so much better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
like you said, you're not bouncing around. You're not eating 4 different times. You're not talking 4 different kinds of groups of people.
Not dragging 4 kids around. Yeah, you're not talking all. It's exhausting, dude. Like, and even Christmas is the same way. Like we do a little bit different with Christmas, but still, it's like. It sucks because I do miss our grandmas and going there and having that kind of the tradition, because like grandma and grandpas always do it the best. Yeah, because I've been doing it for fucking so long.
Exactly. Enough practice.
But at the same time, it's like going place to place by ourselves with is exhausting. Going with kids just makes it that much harder. Yeah,
you know, the more they're exhausted they are, the more you get, because you got to drag them around and stuff like that.
And you know, it's funny. Like as a kid, you went from huge events to smaller ones. So it's like people were like very family oriented, and you go to these huge events, and and then when you get older, you start going to smaller, like more family events. I don't know why it does that, but it seems like that's the consensus with most people I've talked to. Yeah, you know,
makes sense.
What's something that's changed from like kid as adult? One thing that's changed for me was the parades were like a huge thing on TV when we were a kid. Like
they still are. Well, not for watching them, no. But
not watching them. When I was a kid, watching the Macy's Day Parade, would wake up with our family and watch it. Like, it was always a big thing to see all the floats and all the stuff. Now, I know they still do it, but it doesn't seem as... Maybe it's just a magical thing when you're a kid.
It's more of a spectacle. It's more like marching bands and stuff like that. They don't show enough on TV because they're showing too many fucking ads.
It's like, I remember a kid, like, they would show, like, all the cool cartoons. Like, there's, Homer Simpson. Yeah. And they would be like, there's the Rugrats ones or whatever.
They do that, but they only have particular ones.
But it used to be huge. You used to have so many of those fucking floats and all that stuff. It doesn't seem as big as it used to be, or if it does, it's just not, to me, it's noticeable. I was
going to say, it might be just you, because it was on for a couple hours on one day, but then
did you guys watch it?
Jen did. I didn't. I wasn't paying attention. I don't like parades really, and also they repeated like 2 or 3 times during the day too.
Fucking Aunt May always loved parades. She was always big with the parades and all that kind of bullshit. So was Grandma and my mom were always big about, like, we wake up and Mom would be like, watch Macy's parade. We'd always watch them like. Can we turn this off? Right. But then we'd see the floats and be like, oh, yeah, it's cool. Like, when we were a kid, it was really exciting seeing all of our favorite, like, characters and stuff. But I've never been to one of those parades.
I don't want to be.
I don't want to do either. It sounds awful.
Too many fucking people.
The only thing I'd like to go do was go down to...
Pride Fest?
Yeah, Pride Fest with Jen and wave her flags and her girl dicks. But... we go to the St. Patty's Day Parade in here, and that's the biggest one. We went to Chicago for one. It was really cool, and they dyed the River Green. Way too many people. I'd never do it again, ever. It was way too many people. Like, we think like our St. Patrick's Day Parade's pretty big, or obviously we have one of the biggest Mardi Gras here in St. Louis. But going there, it's like I think it's the second biggest one compared to Ireland.
No, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
I mean, shit.
I mean, there must have been 20 or 30,000 people down there, and maybe I'm joking or elaborating, or I don't know, not elaborating, but
or exaggerating.
Exaggerating, exactly. But no. I think it was just overwhelming how many people were there, and we were there all day, all night. And I was like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, it was cool for a while. Just a lot of people watching.
Yeah.
You know, it was cool. It was a cool event.
Right. We also watched the Westminster Dog Show for a little bit.
Yeah.
She likes watching those, but they've cut it down so much. It used to be, like a 3 or 4 hour show, and it's barely even like 1 or 2. And they don't show all of them. They just show the whatever ones they feel like.
The dogs or whatever, and they run around and prance around and do all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, that used to be a huge
which
thing.
Which ones are the best, stuff like that, whatever.
Yeah. What's some other things that are different now? I mean, I know it's hard to think off the cuff right now, but things for kids from an adult. I'll just give you another one so you can start thinking. You say what you're thankful for. It was always a big thing for the kids to go around and say what you're thankful for. We do it sometimes, like we've done it with the kids, and like this year we didn't do it. We just said like a prayer, and like that was it. And like everybody said what they're thankful for. But since I've been a kid, I always do this. Like I always thank like a lot of the same things. It's like I'll thank my family, or what I'm appreciative now that I have my kid, the food, and I always think that I'm like thank God for blues hockey and hockey or something like that. Like I always like to, and people always like that's funny. It's like I'm being fucking serious,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that people have long forgotten is what they're thankful for. Why they're still here. That kind of stuff. People don't think about that anymore.
Not at all.
Just they think about themselves so much.
We're in a more selfish society than we've ever been in my opinion.
Agreed.
I think we talked about it before, the me generation kids growing up and stuff that's going on, and everybody's just so self-centered on themselves and what they're getting and what they're doing on their phones and everything else. It's like, dude, if we could eliminate phones from like everything, like traditional, like you come in the house on Thanksgiving unless you need it, just don't be on it to be more social. I don't think nobody was on their phones.
What you could really do is just cut off the internet for the day. You know, a friend of mine did that. He turned off his Wi-Fi. If anybody wanted to use a computer or anything like that, no, they're fucked. Because he didn't want anybody doing any kind of watching like that. You know, being on their phones, what have you.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with people watching TV and hanging out and doing stuff, whatever, and at Thanksgiving. But when I went to my last one, that was with a bunch of kids and everything. I'm not joking. Adults were talking, the kids were on their phones.
Yeah,
I
believe it.
And I told the wife, it's like the other day, it's like I'll be honest, my kids aren't getting social media and getting a phone until they're in high school.
Yeah.
And if they do get a phone, it'll be the lockdown, stripped down phone that they can call and text on. And
they have 3 numbers on it: yours, Laura's, and some emergency.
Yeah, and grandma and grandpa's or something. Like something stupid like that. It's just like the world's just changed so much. It's so weird. But I've noticed like these kids that have so many mental health problems and stuff that are going on nowadays. It's because they're on their phone all the time. Yeah.
They think they read about certain things, it gets to them, and then they don't.
Well, they see unrealistic stuff at a young age, and they're like, "Why don't I have that? Or why am I like that?" Like they see like these girls, for example, are huge in depression because of Instagram. They'll see these girls on Instagram, and they're like, "Why am I that pretty?" And it's like these girls are filtered.
There's a great show that you just gave me a perfect example of. I don't know the exact medical term for it. One girl thought she was pregnant. She was skinny as hell, but she thought she was pregnant. So she went to go get a sonogram or
pregnancy
ultrasound, and she didn't. There was no baby there, but in her mind, she was saying she was pregnant. She was pregnant, and all her friends thought they were pregnant, and so they're all flipping out. They're all saying, "Oh, they're 6 weeks long. I'm 10 weeks or whatever." They're all going on and on about them being pregnant, but they all got ultrasounds. There's no baby. They're like showing that there is no fetus in this picture. There is no, there's no heartbeat. There's no nothing. When they said there was no heartbeat, that one girl thought her baby was dead.
Oh my gosh,
that kind of stuff. But
where do they get their brain warped?
They find out it's not psychosomatic. There's another word for it. But basically, there was a trauma that one of their friends was pregnant, but her parents took her out of school and moved away from all the girls. So they, in their mind, since their trauma was the girl that left was pregnant, they're all pregnant. They did like a sisterhood bond kind of witch kind of coven kind of thing.
Weird.
Where they were all in their mind
they
were pregnant.
They all brainwash each other.
Yes, basically, yeah.
Weird.
Since one was said it, then all the other 4 or 5 of them said it. And that's how kids are nowadays. Kids read about oh wait, this kid's got headaches and he's got night terrors. So do I. So I have I have something wrong with me.
There's a lot of made up stuff. There's a lot of hypochondriac stuff that goes on.
Too much AI is fucking with people.
Well, so here's the funny thing. I'm old now, so you guys make fun of me, but I like watching the news. I've told people this before. They think I'm weird or whatever. It's like, dude, I don't watch the news because I enjoy it or whatever. I mean, a little bit. I watch it to see the weather, and I just want to watch the local news around St. Louis. I'm not talking about watching world news and shit like that. I'm talking about just what's going around my area. And yesterday, the biggest topic of the day was, and this was during lunchtime, and I was just sitting there. I just turned it on for a minute. They talked about what was the word of the year. Now, you're not going to believe what the word of the year was because it's crazy. But I've heard this word's been around for like a year or two. But this year, I think it was like exploded with people.
Tell me it's like Riz or anything like
No,
that.
no. But it is something like that. It's brain rot.
Yeah.
And they're saying that, and they're like, well, what's the definition of brain rot? And they're using the definition as people who are so wrapped up in their smartphones and technology that their brain has been rotted, pretty much. Like, and I'm giving the long definition short or whatever, you know. So I thought it was funny because there's so many people I see your terms all the time. From these younger kids who are like, you got TikTok brain, or you got brain rot from TikTok, and it's like, you know, or I'm like, it's a true thing. Like these kids that literally spend all their day watching TikTok videos and all this stuff. They just rot their brain, you know, in a bad way, not in a good way. And some of it's just, you know, could be said in jokingly, like, you watch too much, you got brain rot, like a kid. But I think there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how we got on this topic, but I was just thinking about it today, and I was like, and my wife was like, what the fuck is brain rot? It's like, she's never heard of it. It's like, babe, you know, I told her what it was, and she's like, oh, that makes sense. It's like, yeah, it's been around, but it's like, she doesn't stay up and all that stuff. I do. Yeah. You know, I stay up and all that kind of crap. And, you know.
Awake.
Stay awake and woke. I'm awake and woke to it. So the next one I had for thankful from kids to adult, after done being rotted my brain out by that cop topic is
cop topic.
Yeah. Tim can't think of anything because he's an idiot. Black Friday. Is it crazier now, or is it crazier in the 90s?
90s.
Yeah, and
by far,
isn't it?
It was the 90s.
You saw that video I sent you the other day.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos like that, and I've actually seen like videos inside the store.
Yeah,
because we watched. What movie was that? What was that movie? The movie Thanksgiving.
Okay,
and it showed how it was, and even the beginning of the Krampus movie. How Black Friday was.
That's a really high rated movie, Thanksgiving. Like a lot of people like that movie.
Yeah, because it's because there's no Thanksgiving movies.
Yeah,
there are some, but not many.
I remember seeing it one time. The premise is it's based on Thanksgiving, right? And he's a horror, like kind of. Is he considered a slasher, or what the hell is he?
Yeah, slasher.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought it was. Or I remember. And he has an axe, right?
He's got some weird kind of like pilgrish kind of
like
thing.
The small axe, what they call it, whatever.
Yeah, not a hatchet, but like it's just some kind of weird curved one. Whatever, medieval looking.
Okay, I need to rewatch that.
He kidnaps people and does their thing with them.
Yeah,
during Thanksgiving time.
Okay, that's what I thought.
What's funny was how that movie started out was just a fake commercial for the Grindhouse videos that Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez put out. Mm-hmm. It was just a fake commercial because they would show,
and then it blew up
trailers in between playing Grindhouse movies, and then people kept saying, "Hey man, you should make a movie like this. You should keep doing it." And then they were egging him on, Eli Roth about doing it, and then he finally just said, "Fuck it," and did it.
And then it became a cult fan.
Now it's a great movie because everybody,
But you don't see anywhere playing it on Thanksgiving ever.
Actually, no. We watched it on Thanksgiving. It was on
AMC.
I can't remember if it was Prime or if it was like Netflix or something like that. It was on there.
Okay, well maybe they are playing it.
It wasn't trending. It wasn't. It doesn't. Usually when you go on those now, they tell you the top 10 movies of the day or the week, whatever. And it wasn't on there.
Okay, that makes sense.
But still, there's other goofy ass ones like Thanksgiving and. Other ones that are just as worse, whatever kind of thing.
All right, so Black Friday. So going back to what you're saying in the night.
Black Friday was fucking. Oh god, dude, it was like fucking riots.
Did you ever go to Black Friday?
I never did personally, unless it was like later on in the day.
Okay.
I didn't camp out the night before kind of shit because I was always working or something like that. But never. Actually, camped at 6 o'clock.
Was Taco Bell ever open on 24 hours for
Yes.
for Black Friday? Because I remember so. Someone brought this up, and I was like, I forgot about this. That like fast food, like McDonald's and all these places would promote and say, we're open 24 hours for Black Friday, and we would give Black Friday deals for the people that are stuck outside coffee or whatever else it is, and people would they'd be going there all day. I remember when I was a kid.
Taco Bell would open up at 8 o'clock on Thanksgiving night. God who knows fucking why. And then stay open until 4 o'clock the next morning, Saturday morning, because they were open all Black Friday and the normal Saturday times.
And people would maybe
we weren't busy at all, but we still had enough where we would have people come from the sales or whatever because we were the only thing open.
Because they were hungry and they wanted something.
Yeah, they didn't want fucking the normal McDonald's stuff. They wanted something different.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that.
And I don't think they should be open. Any fast food restaurant, pretty much anything should be open unless it's non-American.
The only thing I think it should be open is if they want to be open, like a small mom and pop shop or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got to make money.
Like the Chinese
people
stores,
like Walmart and shit like
the
that.
Chinese stores that make them.
Yeah,
open
the
or
Bodega.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they called?
Bodegas.
Yeah, bodegas and shit. You know, but other people like Walmart, fuck them, dude. People have families.
Yeah.
You know, even wrestling used to be that they would make them work on those Thursdays and stuff like that, or make them work on Thanksgiving and holidays and stuff like that. Now, since UFC owns them now or whatever, they're giving them holidays off. They're giving Christmas off. They're giving Thanksgiving off. You know, they're giving them less schedule around the calendar than they did.
More family time, more work-life balance.
More family time, and time to recover.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's so many times that, you know, people have concussions.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have enough time to recover. They have to come back the next week or even the next day to wrestle again.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get to wrestling in a bit.
Yeah, the next topic is going to be a huge one about wrestling.
But, but that's, you know, stuff like that. Black Friday back then was chaos.
So I've watched a lot of videos. I never got to experience Black Friday in the 90s when I was a kid.
80s was just as bad, too.
80s were just bad. And there's videos that surface around, and I remember watching this one, and maybe I just sent it to you or something. It just sticks in my brain where this cop came over, and he had the fucking key on the door, and he turns the key, and as soon as he turns the key, this fucking guy, like, drop kicks the door, and it's, like, chaos. There's 1,000 people that rush in. It's the mall. I think it's one of the malls.
Yeah.
And they rush in. They're running up the escalator the wrong way.
Yeah.
They get to the top, whatever, to get to electronics and get to the place where they want to be, whatever.
Yeah.
And by the time they're sitting in line, there must have been 3,000 or 4,000 people sitting in line trying to buy shit, and it's like, holy shit! That's like the raw, like insane days of Black Friday.
Yeah. Well, nowadays it's easy. You just do it on Amazon or whatever. You bring it to you.
Yeah. So now, you know, I was gonna get to that point. So like Black Friday, crazy now. You know, it's so I.
To a point, it's crazy, but it's just because they entice you. They're like, if you come in buy the 60-inch TV, we'll throw in something else like that. But something else.
There's always a catch.
Yeah, they'll throw in a free toaster or something like that, something to entice you to come into the store as opposed to ordering it on Amazon or whatever.
So,
which is cool
because they know if they get you in the store, you might buy something else.
Exactly.
So
they know what they're doing.
Yeah. So like, you know, it's like, you know, Black Friday. Black Friday is not really Black Friday because Black Friday starts a week or two earlier.
Right.
And it starts earlier every fucking year.
And it's usually for a week or so too.
Yep. And even
don't forget the Cyber Monday on Monday.
Yeah, and now we got Cyber Monday, and like. I'm gonna tell you what happened this year with me, and I'm kind of pissed off. And it was like not a bad thing, but a good thing. So, I did one of my first Black Fridays, I think that I can remember, and I went with Lincoln, and we went outside the hockey store, Pure Hockey.
Yeah.
First 100 people in line get a gift card, and you have to. It's random. You have to pick it or whatever in a box or whatever, like a little card, and you open it up. And there's one. Everybody wants one because there's one called it's a $500 gift card.
Oh.
So it's like they don't get one of those out.
You get one goalie pad.
Yeah, one goalie pad. So Lincoln, he pulled 100 off 200, and I pulled 50 off 100. Most people got 25 off of 50, or something like that. And so you go in there. Now they don't tell you this before you go, but they tell you when you get there. And I was fucking mad. I wanted to punch a hole in the wall.
They hike the prices up.
No.
Oh.
They go there and they're like, yeah, everything in the store you can use it on, but all the new Bauer gear. And I was like, so...
There goes your shit.
So I was like, pretty much any of the Bauer sticks, because Lincoln wants this new stick, and it's called the Twitch. It's a really cool stick or whatever, and all the kids fucking want it. It's, it's going to be a hot commodity for the hockey community. So I go there, and they're like, yeah, and you can only use these for 3 days. They're only valid for 3 days. And I was like, so I was like, okay. So I went there, and I bought Lila, my daughter, a Blues jersey, and I got a couple other things that were really off, and I got an additional 25% off a couple other things. So I'm like, cool. So I got to use the 50 off 100, and I spent probably about $200, and I got it for like 80 or 90 bucks. All said and done. I was like, okay, so I did make out some good stuff. And Lincoln's like, don't use my gift card. You spend the 200 and 100 on something different. I said, okay. So I'm walking around, looking around for buying stuff, and a couple of his friends were up there too. I mean, I saw a lot of people from the community that were up there. We see it because it's normal, because everybody knows how expensive hockey is.
Right.
So I had talked to the guy up front. I'm like, dude, you told me like blah 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 about that stuff. He's like, yeah. They kind of leave that shit out because they want people to come to the store, and it's like, yeah, I get that. So I was like, this is probably the last time I'll come and do this.
Yeah.
But he did tell me, and I forgot because I got so busy. He's like, look, come back to the store later. He's like, I got to work around. He's like, you want a stick? I said, yeah, I want this stick. He goes, okay, go buy a stick at the same price. That's not a Bauer stick, and we'll get the $100 off $200. Come back the next day with it and say you bought the wrong stick by mistake, and we'll exchange it for store credit, the same price with with the original price of what it was, and then you can buy it for the other stick and use it. And I go, oh, that's a fucking great idea. Like, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
And then Lincoln had games Saturday and Sunday.
Of course he did.
And then I got home and I fell asleep and forgot about it. And I was like, oh, I'll go there Monday. And I got up there and they're like, you can't use it. It was only used on December 1st. Today's December 2nd. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. You're fucking joking me. And I'm like, you guys can't give me. I'm like, how much money do I spend in this fucking place? Look at my goddamn account. Yeah. Like, we're sorry, man. We can't. Like, if we had to do that, we had to do it for everybody. Blah blah. I was just so mad. Now that was my fault, so I can't really blame anybody but myself. But at the same time, it's like, again, the catch. You get there, you sit in line. I sat there for an hour with them sitting in line, and I was probably person number 40th person in line or something, maybe 45th. Yeah. And this first 100 people, there must have been 150 people that got to the store.
I believe
so I got one, which which was cool. And I sat in the line. And I did the whole sit in line thing with my son, and he sat out there and played with the kids. They had like hockey nets in the street, let the kids play, which was cool.
Yeah.
To make it a little bit more fun, but at the end of the day, it's like that's the catch. You get in the store, make you buy stuff, and it's like, but everything that everybody actually came here to buy, sticks and shit, you couldn't get the sticks you want. And then everyone's like, "Are you fucking joking me? Like, where's this in the flyer? Doesn't say anything about that in the flyer. Just when you got to the store, they announced it. It's like, cool, won't do that again. Yeah. That pissed me off.
Yeah, a lot of places like that now. Even with restaurants, where they say, "Oh, you can get a free large pizza," but then if you read the captions, it says, "But." Through the app or something like that.
We order anything on the app now. Like if we go to Wendy's, we're big Wendy's people now. Like I've given up on McDonald's, a much place, and Wendy's down the street from my house. And my wife used to work there when I was a kid.
Right.
You order stuff on there, you get free stuff all the time. Like order free Frosty or free extra fry or free whatever, and you get like discount or coupons. If you go to the store, you don't get any of that. So always order on the app, and it's like the only thing I can think of why they want you to do that. One is to track your stuff to see like what you're ordering, but also to get rid of people. That's what I think it is about. Yeah. To just get rid of people.
Because that's how, if you think about it, a lot of people a lot of people stopped going to grocery stores because do you have a Schnucks Plus card or something like that? They say no.
Yep.
They're missing out on coupons or their deals, or whatever. So now whenever they get the card, now everybody's got one, but then the certain people that don't, they go somewhere else because like I don't want to be this fucking Schnucks Club. Fuck this or whatever. And it deters people because they're not part of the cool gang or the cool kids, and it pisses people off that they can't be popular like everybody else. They want the same perks as everyone else, but they don't want to put in the work to get the perks. Mm-hmm. Especially like when I used to work at the casino, especially, we had three main cards: the gold, platinum, and diamond. Diamond being the highest, but then they start after. Those people, the diamond people, started seeing other people getting privileges because they would spend more. They started the double diamond, which is people who spent even more money. But then even more, the double diamonds, they started seeing other people getting other perks. They started the seven-star club, and that was the people who spent $25,000 in a day, even though the loss limit was only $500 every hour.
It's crazy, dude.
And it's just like, dude, okay, you're just giving and giving and giving and giving, and people want shit for free.
Take it.
And take it. Yeah, exactly.
It's
ridiculous.
And the Black Friday thing, like, there's still good deals out there. Like, you can still find really good deals and stuff. Like, Amazon, I'm sorry, but they do have some of the best deals. But, some of the deals is like everything. It's on the shit that nobody wants, the clearance stuff and whatever else. But I did find some good things. Like, I found my dad, as he gotten older, he's gotten really, like, depressive when it comes to, like, wintertime. And I think it happens a lot with older, like the vitamin D you're missing. So I bought him a happy lamp. You know what those are?
Yeah.
A vitamin D lamp, what they call it, whatever.
Yeah, I got Gen 1.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does it work, do you think?
Yeah. It's basically, it's like having a window. It's like instead of seeing the sunlight, you're seeing similar light to it. So that way it brings you vitamin D. It brings you happiness.
Yeah. So
it's not so gloomy.
Yeah. So I got him one of those put next to his bed, you know, just to hang out and put it over there because he was like, I want a lamp, whatever. And it's you can move it. It's got a remote that can dial it in or whatever. And it's like one of the highly rated ones. And I was like, you know what, this is a good gift, like something that my dad would get a lot of use out of or whatever. So I just thought that was like
those things are very, very, I'd say, therapeutic for people, especially people who are, like I said, are cooped up in their office and they don't have windows.
He's a big sun guy, and now it's the guy with he loves the pool. So now the sun's gone. It's like he's lost like part of himself, and it's like
he's a hot tub with a giant lamp above him.
But even on Black Friday though, like going around and shopping, I noticed like even today after Cyber Monday, if you look there, the deals will still be there. Yeah, they'll be a little bit longer.
They have Cyber Week.
Cyber Week now. Yeah, it's not just Monday. Like there's some things I wanted to buy yesterday and I should have bought. I haven't bought yet.
The better deals are the day of, but then the week following, they're not horrible, but they're not as good as they were.
Right. And so I went to this website to buy Lincoln hockey gloves, and because he got holes in them, and his one gloves, and he bought them, and within one day he got a hole in his gloves, and so I sent them back, and they wouldn't give him my money back, or they wouldn't give me my shipping money back. But I ended up like raging out. It's like, look, dude, I bought these, and he used them one day, and I go buy new ones from a different store. Like, I want my fucking money back, pretty much, in better words.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll give you store credit, same price. So I forgot I had the gift card, so I just got it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this gift card to buy the stick. I go to buy the stick and look at it, and I was like, at bed, I was like, I'll buy it in the morning because I'm tired. I'm like, I'll be on my computer. Yeah. I get in the morning, and it's sold out. I'm like, I'm gonna kill my fucking self. Like, it's just one, like two things in one day, the card and then that. I forgot to bring that up. So it's like, cool, got double fucked.
Both sides, both hands.
Yeah, but like Black Friday to everybody, like, one cool thing about the Black Friday was, like, I remember when South Park made the episode where, like, them going to Black Friday, and that big giant woman's like, everybody thinks I'm getting into the store before I am, I'm bringing that mother effing pain or whatever. Like, just like that kind of stuff. Like, we missed all that insanity. Now, people still go out. Like, I have cousins that still go out, like, every Friday. They go, they'll go to Target and a bunch of places they want to go, and they get their coffee, and they dress all up and, like, have a good time with it.
Right.
But like you said, the crowds aren't there. Like, I used to go I used to wait for the midnight releases for video games, and that was my Black Fridays.
Yeah.
CDs, but I would never sit outside a store for fucking a day. I've never done that. I've never camped out and sat there with people and exchanged spots and did that stuff. I always wanted to, but that boat is gone. Now maybe we'll come back one day. Maybe. I think it will eventually come back. The hype will come back.
Maybe. Like I said, if they do something else to entice people, like you buy one get one free TV or something like that,
like a BOGO. Yeah. They need to do better enticing things to get people into their stores, not just like, hey, we have these the advertising.
Hey, buy a $6,000 TV, but we'll give you 10% off everything else. No, maybe.
What would be smart, and then we'll move on to the next topic for Thanksgiving is like, for example, like for electronics, people are always big on electronics. So like, if they would, like, someone that was smart would be like, PlayStation or Nintendo would release their console and be like, you have to go to this store on these days and you can get this much money off and get a great deal on our new consoles, just to sell the consoles, just whatever.
Right.
Mark them down a little bit. They'd sell out of them. People would go there in droves to go buy them because
people don't realize is how much it costs to make toys and certain consoles and stuff like that. They're upselling them so fucking much. It's not even funny.
Well, I went back and looked at some of the consoles because, I have those nostalgic fucking things I found on Instagram and Twitter and everything else, and you look at like KB Toys or Toys R Us and some of those places, and they're like, new console, $199 or $159 or $150 or $149 or whatever. Like when the Nintendo 64 came out, I think it was like $200.
Yeah, and
like when PS1 came out, I think it was like a $200 or $250 or whatever. And it's like, and that was expensive back then. Yeah, and now they're between $500 to $800. Depending on what you get, what modifications you get.
Or even when PS2 came out, then the PS1 would shoot down to like $50. It's like, God damn, I wish.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. And it's funny. It's like sometimes some of those consoles, they went down, but they went up over the original price. Almost like, like this one from the 90s or 2000s is PS1 or PS3 or whatever, like special edition. It was $300 when it came out, but now to find it, it's $400 to buy it. It's like, so it went up.
Exactly.
Why? Because it's a collector's item now, whatever. You know how everything goes. So it's just
like, motherfucker.
It's just funny to see that. Let's see, Thanksgiving. I think this is true for a lot of people, and just like any holiday. What's different from a kid versus adult now, you've realized, is the Thanksgiving stuff starts earlier.
Yes, it does.
It does. It doesn't, like in the stores and the advertising and everything else, because they want to advertise and shit just like they do.
I mean, to a point, yes, but to a point, no, because if you think about it, people they skipped over Thanksgiving this year and went straight to Christmas shit. Because the second Halloween was over, bam, everything was Christmas.
I would agree. People put put my, you know how I am. I put my Christmas lights up after October, but I don't put them on or whatever
because it's the weather. That's the only reason why you do it.
Yeah, but also because of Thanksgiving this year, I think people did it more because it was earlier in the year. That we got or later in the year. So like we're not getting the traditional like 2 weeks of extra time in fall. It's like Thanksgiving's over now. It's December. Like it doesn't feel real.
Right.
That this year that Thanksgiving was so late. But I don't know. To me, this year, I saw people put up a lot of Christmas shit, but I saw a lot of people also like have more Thanksgiving shit out, like a lot in their yards. I thought like a little turkey stuff.
I haven't seen it around at least.
People kept their pumpkins out longer this year. My pumpkins,
I've seen that. Yeah,
my pumpkins didn't rot at all. I did the trick and everything this year. They stayed.
Ours were eaten in like within a couple of weeks by the damn squirrels.
Really?
Yeah.
Ours didn't get eaten all. We have squirrels. I had 4 pumpkins for the kids and nothing. And so when I'm doing it was give it to my sister-in-law, so they could. She brings it out to her place and lets the reindeer, not reindeer, but fucking deer. What the hell's wrong with me? Because that's what they like to eat. So
right. Our squirrels were eating ours were like really fast.
Really?
Like mine was eaten way before Halloween. I was like, dude, motherfucker.
Yeah. Something that's different between a kid and an adult now, and I know you'll know this because every kid now, because we have kids or whatever else and what's going on is, you get off school, and it's off school is longer now for the kids. Like Lincoln and Lila got a week off school.
Damn.
I don't know why they did, but this year they gave them a week off school.
Just get that Thursday and Friday off.
I think that what they do is they plan, the teacher meetings and some other stuff around that time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's easier for the kids to get out of school and then get it done and knocked
get
out.
Stuff ready for next semester and stuff like that. Yeah, makes sense.
We got off work. We always get off work.
Yeah.
But that's something we don't get as a kid. You don't get off. Kids don't get off for Well, they do get off Thanksgiving, but not like adults do.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Yeah.
What else is different now as a kid? You don't get the laziness when you're an adult when you do as a kid. Like the lazy enjoying time. Like it was more leisure, relaxing time. Like we said, it's more stressful for adults because you got to plan Thanksgiving, get all the shit ready.
Yeah.
Kids just get to relax and have fun. They're playing games or watching movies or not doing anything. I think that's the difference between now as an adult and the kid when Thanksgiving. Like looking through this perspective of what's going on.
There's more stuff for kids to do.
Yeah.
Not than we did.
Now things that we took for granted was like we got the nap. Like people used to think that was like a bad thing that kids napped or did stuff, or we used to think it was bad or whatever napping. It's like now as adults, like we want to nap.
I want to nap.
We want to nap, and then we want to relax, So that's something different. Like you just don't get any relaxed time as an adult.
Right.
Let's see. Something that was different. Now this is something I did notice that was something different. That they always used to do stuff being inspired by your T-shirt. Is the Simpsons always had Thanksgiving fucking specials on Thanksgiving.
Not just The Simpsons, other places.
I know, not just The Simpsons, but on Thanksgiving they'd always promote The Simpsons. Like it was always a big thing.
Well, because they were on Thursdays. That's why.
Right. No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like it was always a cool thing. Like people always watched The Simpsons on Thanksgiving. At least I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
we would watch the Home Improvements and Roseanne's and stuff like that too. They also had specials. Mm-hmm. But not so much anymore. It's just because I think it's Thanksgiving for us is on a different day than Canada, and other places don't even have it. Obviously, because
nobody.
They didn't.
It's really
they
weird.
Didn't have people take over their.
It's
land.
funny. Like I've met people from the UK, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving." Like, what is it even about? And you try to explain to them like what kind of food is and what they're doing, and they get here and they're like, "Hey, like people that get experience like this is actually pretty cool."
They don't even celebrate Thanksgiving or Halloween over there either.
They don't.
No. Other people I know they know of the holiday, and they're jealous that us Americans do that, and American and not just Mexicans and shit like that. But they are jealous that we have the holiday like that, and kids go around getting candy. They said they'd love it.
Yeah, that's true.
But so many things ruin that for people, like Jack the Ripper and stuff like that. But
yeah, I know shit
stuff like that.
Yeah. And the other thing about Thanksgiving is it's like, as an adult, you learn to appreciate it more for what it actually symbolizes, like you were saying earlier, and then we can go up to the next topic. Is people don't really appreciate like what it's really meant for, like spend time and like hanging out with your family and do all this stuff, because as you get older, your family gets smaller, people pass away, things happen, blah blah blah. As your kid, you're oblivious to it, obviously. And you're like, I just want to get this over with because where's Christmas? Like my kids have been asking me nonstop, where's Elf on the Shelf? Where's Christmas? And like Sunday, that was another thing. I put up all my Christmas decorations. Finally, we always do it after Thanksgiving. And like, where's the elf? That's all they care about. Like, and like when we have Thanksgiving leftovers, none of the kids want to eat it. Like they don't care. It's like, oh, we're stuck eating this fucking shit all the time and stuff. And it's great food.
Yeah. Do you need me to play Santa Claus for like do the Santa Claus thing where I can call Lincoln and
yeah, you can do that this year. Yeah, it'll be funny.
Okay.
Call them on their iPad or call my phone or something like that. We can call them on and say you got a call from somebody.
Yeah. Tell me. Whenever they get their Elf on the Shelf up, tell me its name so I can say, hey, blah 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 is watching you. He's reporting back to me.
His name's Red.
Red.
Lincoln named him because Lincoln, when he was younger, his favorite color was red.
Yeah.
And Elf on the Shelf is obviously dressed in red and white. And he's like, "What do you want to call me?" He's like, "Red."
Okay.
So it's always been Red.
Yeah.
Now, and now other kids got some funny names. Like some of the Elf on the Shelf names are crazy, and it's funny because he'll be like, "How does he move?" And then he told me he's got magic and all this other stuff. And as an adult, you like last night, I came home from hockey at 11 o'clock, whatever, and I was fucking tired. And I was like, fuck, I gotta move the elf. Like that's like one thing people as adults hate. Like I gotta move that fucking elf because if I don't, they're like, he didn't move and like it's not magical or whatever.
Yeah.
But they always ask me, they're like, how does he make all my toys? Like how does he make my hockey stick? And it's like, dude. And then I try to explain to him, it's like there's millions of these little elves. Like they help Santa. And he's like, well, how does Santa get all this shit done? It's like from the elves, and he watches you and reports back.
It's
You know.
Yeah.
So and the best thing about the elf, and then I'll shut up about the fucking elf is the kids when he comes out. They mind so much better. Like
oh yeah, because he knows somebody's watching them.
They're like, oh, Red's watching you, or whatever. The elf's watching. And they're like, and they'll be like, look, creeping around, like he's watching me. He's watching me. You know, it's fun watching it, and it's fun watching them go through because it's funny. Because one day they're gonna realize this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm really enjoying it and stuff.
Would it be really cool? I don't know if you want to try it sometime. Like put your phone behind Red or something, or something where you could just
hide, the kids.
And then you have someone on the phone behind them and say, I'm watching. Yeah. Or, hey, Lincoln, what you looking at?
Well, so I know a lot of people have made this like unwritten rule with the elf. It's like you can't touch him. He's magical. Don't do anything. Lincoln and Lyle want to do nothing but fucking touch this guy. And like one day when I was gone, he got out and got the step ladder out and fucking crawled up there and got he's ain't stupid. So it's like this kid's gonna figure out how to get this damn elf.
Yeah.
He's jumping on the couch.
He's like Toy Story. Just tell him it's like Toy Story.
Yeah.
They see somebody and then they just fall.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I told him. I said when he's watching, it's like Toy Story. He doesn't move and do anything. He's like, oh, okay. So, but what I'll do, like, he'll be like, can I go play video games with? I want Red to watch me, and I'll say, well, if you're a good boy, maybe he'll go down there or whatever, and then like he'll forget about it for a while. I'll be like, where's Red? He must want to watch you go play video games. Like he'll go downstairs and he wants to watch me play video games.
You should do is put Red around the corner and have him
peek around the corner. Yeah, that'd be funny. Either way, I think it's cool.
If I had kids, they would be fucked because I would be so doing stuff like that constantly.
There's a lot of funny stories, a lot of funny videos, there's a lot of good things on Reddit, reading about it and stuff like that. And there's some people that really go all in and out, you know, like decorating and doing stuff like, or like they'll put like little signs up, whatever, with them, and like they have like little figurines for them, like a reindeer and other stuff, which is cool. I don't think about it that much, whatever. So, but I do remember to move them, and I try to do as best as I can. But it's like anything; it's the last thing I'm thinking about all day is like decorating and stuff and doing that kind of stuff. But to each their own. If that's what they're into, I think it's cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it'd be cool if they did more stuff for holidays for kids.
Right.
Even for Halloween, if they had something like that. But people.
You want your kids to behave all year round, not just one fucking year.
Yeah, you want to behave all the time. So Thanksgiving first kid versus now, I'd say, as a kid, I'll just go back to my original thing. It was more boring to me because nothing was focused on me. And like when I was a kid growing up, I didn't have a lot of kids my age in my family. I was like me and my sister, and that was it. So like to me, I never had fun dressing up, and like we never wanted to play with us and hang out with us because they're most are adults or adolescents. And now as an adult, now having kids, it's like it's still fun, and I love the food. Don't get me wrong, the food's the best part.
It's not as fun.
It's just not as fun. It's a little bit more stressful, but I like both. I like it better as an adult, but I think where's your point again? This kid, why'd you like it better as a kid? I can't remember.
Do we have much to do? Just we were kids, kids. No, I just hated dressing up mostly.
Yeah, I will say this too. When we used to have it at our house, or we'd go somewhere, my mom, as I got older, would let me bring my video games and do stuff, and I would just zone on video games the entire time.
Right.
My own babysitter before there was an iPad or whatever.
Right.
So, all right. So I think that's gonna wrap up Thanksgiving. So it's over with. Christmas is on its way, and we're gonna do a Christmas podcast. I think in a year-end wrap-up one as well in our next podcast, but. We're going to get into the topic, our main topic, and this is pretty much, it's Tim's and mine.
Thanksgiving Day parade, or Thanksgiving parade, tradition.
Yeah. We're going to talk about wrestling.
Yes.
I'll let you go for your first topic, because I got a bunch of topics on here.
Yeah, you got a bunch, okay.
Yeah.
Well, just, in general, when I first started watching wrestling was way back in, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
We at the time there was no pay-per-view. It was WrestleMania 1 was on USA Network because obviously, like I said, they didn't have pay-per-view and there was nowhere else to show it. So that was kind of turned me on to wrestling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I grew older, they started seeing like WCW and NWA stuff, and then finding other federations. I'm like, oh, there's not just one now, because that's all we knew about was WWF, and even WWF was on
USA?
TBS for a while.
Oh, TBS, that's right.
Yeah. And so
when did they switch to USA? Or is that just, or did they have two different channels that broadcasted it?
It was two different channels. But it was more. It was TBS was the early days, and then they switched it because Turner wouldn't let them do something or something like that. they got a better deal probably. But yeah, and then after that, like I said, we started finding NWA. Then after that was like USWA and all these other ones like that, and started finding more wrestlers were skipping one place to another place, like always what happened to people, and it just blew up. You started getting the toys. I countless toys of theirs I had. And then that's when we started noticing pay-per-view. He could, spend $30 every 4 months or whatever, get WrestleMania and stuff like that. And then they started going up and up and up. And I just, by 2000, in high school, my friends were all into it. So, we were all wrestling around in the backyard and stuff like that, backyard wrestling. And then by like 2013 or so, I just started falling out of it. So I'm not sure. Lately, I've not know what's going on. I know of things or whatever, but I don't know everybody and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it was entertaining to watch because it was literally a man's soap opera, and it was it was catered to kids. And that's what turned me on to was seeing like the Ultimate Warrior. Then you got to see like Big Boss Man, guy who's like a security guard or a professional guard, and you had Hogan and stuff like that.
Big Boss Man, I remember that guy.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff.
Was he the big black bald guy or who?
No, that was Bad News Brown.
That's right. Okay.
Or Tony Atlas or some other guys.
Yeah.
Boss Man was the guy who had like big blue security shirt on.
Did he wears sunglasses once in a while? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Every once in a while he carried a ball and chain or a
ball and chain. Yeah.
Nightstick, that kind of shit.
I remember that.
But then after a while they started getting more towards their older demographic because they've had girls with big tits and stuff like that hang out. And,
that was old, but that was kind of in the 90s, right?
Yeah, that was late 90s, early 2000s.
And that's when it was really getting popular because I remember the girls that had to be in there, like Sable, she was huge. I mean, she was huge in that time.
Yeah,
and goddamn,
Stacey
she was.
Keebler, goddamn, she was fucking hot.
Yeah, I just remember Sable because everybody remembered she had the biggest boobs.
Yeah,
yeah.
She was one of them. Yeah,
she was beautiful.
Even WCW they started doing on it, and then they had their Monday Night Wars.
I never liked the WCW girls, so I always the WWF girls were always so much beautiful, like.
Well, Vince had more money too, but of course they had. It's just because they were on a different network they can do things.
Now I always want to know, and you might know this because this is just random and stuff. Did any of those girls ever have relationships with any of these wrestlers, or they were not allowed to?
Yes, they did. A lot of them were married to the wrestlers. A lot of people didn't know certain valet, as they were called, are married to wrestlers like Deborah. She was married to Steve Austin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Before that, she was married to somebody else.
Okay.
And then after that or before that, she was Jeff Jarrett.
I guess and that makes sense because all these people spend so much damn time together.
Exactly.
They don't know with anybody else that they end up getting together.
There's even, this is going to be funny to talk about. There was a girl that I used to watch on WCW in the early 90s. Her name was Missy Hyatt. She was mostly just a ring announcer.
I remember that.
And then she started becoming a valet. But I've come to find out, a few years ago, she was a throat goat. She blew everybody in the locker room.
Everybody?
Literally everyone in the WCW locker room back in the early 90s.
They call her the throat goat, or they just...
She was just a throat goat.
And she was proud of it?
Oh, she was very proud of it. She had her body count was so... She said her body count for wrestlers alone surpassed so many other people, just normal people.
Was it like her tradition? Like, if you're a new wrestler, she was going to blow you?
Basically, yeah.
Because she didn't...
That's what she wanted. That's how she was. She was just a slut. And there's other ones
she wanted to stay, and she probably wanted to stay relevant in the WCW.
She wanted to keep her job.
Yeah.
Because that's how it was, especially for, in the movies and stuff like that. If you didn't do what the boss said,
the guy from TNT or TBS or whatever, what's his name?
Ted Turner.
Ted Turner. I'm sure he liked her.
He was old guy. I don't think he cared.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
Well, what about what's his name? Who was running WCW again?
Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff. Huh?
Yeah, he had his own family, so I don't think she was around. She was
around before.
He
after.
was an announcer when she was an announcer. He was an announcer. He wasn't. He wasn't in the top spot.
Oh, okay. This was before him.
Yeah. This was before his big time.
Was she this girl at more 80s?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Okay, that's probably before I even started getting.
If you see, I'll show you a picture of her later. But she's fucking. She was fucking hot.
Yeah.
Nowadays, not so much. I think her lips are all stretched out.
Either way, yeah, probably from being throat goat.
Yeah, but there's a lot of hot ass women and that's what cater to the adult guys, whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's going to draw on more men because there's women are sexualized. It's just the way it is, and they would put hot women. Who's going to tune in? Men are tuning in.
Right. And
I'm sure
now they have women wrestlers that are fucking phenomenal that can kick anybody's ass.
I've watched some of the newer ones with the girls, and they're athletes.
Oh,
They're unbelievable.
They're fucking unbelievable, dude. There's
and a
one
lot
I
of them
saw a video of.
Some are, and some of them are really good looking too.
Yeah.
It's. I think it just goes hand in hand. Like some of these girls that dress. I mean, a lot of people. This is just subjective to me, but it's like Ronda Rousey to me was always hot.
Oh yeah.
I think she was always good looking, and something about her and her attitude was always hot to me, or whatever. And even now, I still like her. Really smart by Vince McMahon to pull her out of UC after she got like pretty much UFC. After she kind of like said, I'm retiring or hanging myself up, whatever, and they're like, why don't you come over here? And she blew up, and and I was like, wow, like that was really smart marketing because everybody loved Ronda Rousey, and she's already, not really. She was a good fighter, and she could probably act the fight. It's not that hard for her.
Exactly.
Because obviously Brock did it, and a bunch of other people have done it. So, but yeah, wrestling to me in the '90s was just when I first got into it. Like I said, it was right around the Attitude Era. Yeah. Because that's when it was kind of becoming like this big thing, right in our face. With X. What was it called? DX, and then you had NWO and stuff. Like that's when it was really hyped up for me. That's when I really got into it and started like really following wrestling. Now I've seen it and I watched it prior to that, but I wasn't really. I only knew like Hulk Hogan. Like that was the only person I really knew. Yeah. But to me, like the wrestling thing was just always like. It seemed like it was a boy thing. It didn't seem like it was really girlish, But my sister, like I said before, and if you guys listen to other podcasts, she got into it with me. Like she would watch it because I would watch it, and then she started getting into it, and then she started mimicking me and copying the house, going around and telling my mom and dad to suck it, and which I probably got in trouble for that a lot. And these kids nowadays don't know like how many kids in school got in trouble for going around telling their teachers and kids to suck it.
Not even just saying it, so just doing the crash job, man.
See your friend in the hallway.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys throwing up X gain symbols? And it's like, no, that's telling you guys to suck it.
Exactly.
And then you get in trouble at the principal's office.
Right.
Man, there's nothing cooler doing that to like your friends or people, and like the older like adults be like, what are they doing?
I told you I did it on my graduation night. When I got my diploma, I turned to my principal and did the suck it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did he know what it meant?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I never talked to him after that.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't. Probably sucking it afterwards.
Wouldn't
so yeah, it was like that time to be into it, like with no internet or maybe there's a little internet back then, very little. It was so cool, dude. Like just to be in the mix of like the real hype and in the battle between WCW and WWF was just there was something about just living and watching it because we'll never get that hype back again. Obviously, there's only one wrestling thing now. Now there's other ones, but it's all like. Backyard wrestling and shit like that.
Well, actually there's one that's on TNT again called AEW.
I saw that
not too long ago, and it's basically WCW Part 2 because whoever rejected from WWE is now there, and like
it's just not the same. It's just not the same.
Oh yes, of course not. It's not going to be. They don't want it to have the same brand and same. Storylines and stuff like that as WWE.
You can't do the same gag twice. It's
exactly.
Like you got to come up with a new one. But with wrestling, you're so limited. Now, I'm not saying it's not. It might be like a good landing point, like kind of like the minor leagues for the wrestling. They go there and then they get plucked. Maybe that's kind of what they.
That's what they kind of do. That's what WWE used to do. Is they had so many developmental companies like OEW or OVW, which is Ohio Valley Wrestling. Mm-hmm. That's where they got Brock Lesnar and Cena and Orton and stuff like that. They would pick from the little guys and bring them up and make them into big stars and stuff like that. Yeah. Some people work out, some people don't. That's the problem.
Yeah. I think the thing with me that always stuck with me with the wrestling is they were consistent about being on live TV. I mean, I watched it when it started going live, and I did watch the older ones. It's funny, like when I got into it, I started renting the older matches and older shit on tape.
I still watch those on Peacock.
When I would go to Blockbuster. And we would go there, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I would go there and rent their old wrestling tapes and watch the old matches, and it's like, okay, so things started making sense to me as I started watching it more and paying attention. Like, there's like an actual like storyline, like you said, like a soap opera. Like you have to stay into it. And like when you're a kid, you're just like watching, like you want your favorite wrestler one. You didn't realize there was a storyline until you got older and you're able to comprehend it. You know.
It's what we used to do is like we were at the old Royal Rumbles, the old pay-per-views, whatever. Like, oh, this Big Boss Man, he was Big Bubba Rogers in WCW, or Hollywood Hogan was Hulk Hogan, stuff like that. And then after when we started getting older and into more in the '90s, we're like, instead of saying who was who in the different federations, like, oh, that guy's dead, that guy's dead, stuff like that. it's morbid to say stuff like that, but it's true. Like you're watching like a whole match is like only one guy in this entire match is alive.
I don't think it's morbid. I think it's just what it is,
It's life,
dude.
yeah.
It's just life. It's just what it is.
Right.
I think the other thing that was cool about it with me was it was a time where like when I was a kid they didn't have merch, you know, when they first come out, but then all of a sudden
Everywhere.
WWF and everything was everywhere, and like the merch was crazy with NWO and Austin 316 and Generation X, and like you could go to the mall and you'd see so many people wearing their fucking clothes and some of the stuff, and you go to Spencer's and like all those stores, and they would have so much wrestling shit. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, when I went to my first wrestling match, the first thing I did was have a Stone Cold shirt. I think I had the skull one or whatever, with the smoke and everything. I remember it said Stone Cold in the head or an Austin 316 on it. And I remember having a poster that said Austin 316. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, like holding the poster up and doing it. That's just something like you will never see again. Like when you experience it as a kid, it's way more fun than an adult. Obviously, you know a little bit different. When you're a kid, you're living in the moment and loving it. And like Austin, I still believe, and I don't care what anybody says. After Hogan, I think the Austin 316 was like one of the biggest things that happened in wrestling.
It is.
Moments.
He made more money off that just the Austin 316 shirt than he did his salary for the year.
You know, he still makes money.
1 year. He still makes money because he still works for him.
Yeah, and apparently someone said that like when people they still buy that Austin 316 or Austin shirts, like he's still making money to this day.
He's still making different shirts too.
Is he really?
You know, anytime he makes an appearance, he always wears a new shirt.
The rattlesnake shirt.
Yeah, did the rattlesnake or Austin something or the Fuck Fear one and stuff like that. You know? And now with them being owned by UFC, UCF is University of Florida.
Yeah.
UFC. He's they have more leniency to do things because it's not owned by McMahon.
Yeah.
And now that they're off USA again, but now they're on Netflix, which a lot of people don't realize if they're being on Netflix, the shows don't have to be 2 hours, 3 hours long. It can go on longer. For one, two, they can cuss, which a lot of them have to bite their tongue about cussing. They can bleed now. They can actually bleed on TV without getting fined or anything like that. There's the rules have changed, so to say, since they're on Netflix and with UFC now. And people don't. I don't know if I have, like I said, I haven't watched it in forever, so I don't know what's going on. But I don't know if they're going to keep the same fan base because they were so used to the same shit
everything evolves, right?
Overlying rules.
I think that was something McMahon realized, like you have to change the times, and
he did.
He did.
Now it's like he's not part of it, so he has no say in it.
I read a story.
I know he might be a little bit into it.
He's still. I forget which wrestler said it or somebody said it that even if he's out, he's not really out.
He's not really out.
There's probably some. There's probably even the documentary. There was someone a wrestler that came out and said something about it.
Yeah. He's still in.
They said he's still putting his input into it. Now he might not be running the whole show, but
he doesn't get final say.
Right, but he's still putting input into it and stuff. And
I believe it.
I bet there's something that was written in the clause that he has something still part of it. His family name or something he owns a part of the stock or something that's part of it still.
Yeah.
That maybe he's not 51% owner of the company anymore, right?
He wasn't 100% at one point.
Yeah. I think the thing you were saying earlier with evolving, I remember watching the documentary, like he didn't want to do the women thing, and then all of a sudden he did the whole women thing, and like it blew up and it got women into it, right? And then they got even bigger.
Yeah.
And like now, obviously, it's the era of streaming and online influencers. They got Jake Paul and a bunch of other people that are into it, like whatever. But apparently, people say that in the wrestling that he's actually a good wrestler. Like he actually does it. He puts work into it. Like people that are in the wrestling, like he's one of the few people you would look at and like this guy's probably a d-bag, but behind the scenes, like he puts the work in. He really cares.
Right.
He wants to grow the brand. He really wants to keep this job, and people say he does a great job. Plus, he's getting the audience of people that people never thought. And you saw that they broke like a world record number of like the most fans and the most watched thing they've ever did. So that's cool too. Like it's cool to see that it's still living and breathing. It hasn't died off.
Right, exactly, and it's stood the test of time.
There's no there's no other live action soap opera like drama filled show
or even
out there.
Sport, besides UFC.
Yeah, well, that's I mean that's fighting.
It's a different league.
Yeah,
that's actual fighting, not choreographed fighting. So
right,
to say,
or some stuff. I mean, some stuff
like
they do on the cuff probably. Like they tell each other, "I'm gonna throw you and I'm gonna kick you here and do whatever."
Yeah, but it's not just straight knock you the fuck out and that's it.
Yeah. So a couple of my topics from the wrestling thing is we were kind of touched on it, like wrestling then versus now was pretty much our opening topic.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite wrestler if you had to pick one?
All time or back when I was little?
Either you could say when you're little, you can do both. It doesn't matter.
When I was little, it was Ultimate Warrior, obviously, because he was the big tough guy that nobody beat. Then growing up, I've grown to respect and more wrestler, not just showy showman kind of thing. It was either Ric Flair or Undertaker, just because the respect that he deserved and he got for just like Undertaker, doing it for 30 plus years and putting his body on the line the entire time.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Same thing with Ric Flair. He broke his back and then came back and like with a vengeance and ruled on top of the world kind of stuff. And he also gets top respect, even though he's a womanizer, but still.
What I mean, growing up in that era, what guy wasn't?
Yeah. To a point, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that.
Not saying like anybody that's in sports.
Well, you think about these muscly guys that sweaty all day, and women like that kind of stuff. You used to like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and they were superstars. They had a lot of money.
Exactly.
A lot of drugs, a lot of partying back then.
Exactly.
They're like the rock stars of their era.
Exactly.
Right?
They were all about the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Just about the rock and roll. But yeah, it was Flair and Undertaker more after my adult life. But then like I said, I loved Ultimate Warrior because he was so showy and everything. And Legion of Doom also, tag team wise, because the very first metal song I ever heard was Iron Man by Black Sabbath. That was their entrance song.
I remember you telling me that.
So that kind of
got you in the metal.
Yeah.
I would have to say as a kid, man, it's so hard thinking about who was the most influential to me because I liked so many people. But obviously, as a kid, it was probably Stone Cold, hands down. Like Stone Cold was my fucking guy. Yeah. Loved him to death.
I would have loved him if that was my era growing up.
He just represented like hard ass, badass, like hard nosed. Fuck you, exactly. Didn't like
Cross the boss.
Yeah, didn't like the boss. Like and everybody loved the whole boss.
Yeah,
everybody had worked.
Yeah,
define the man, the guy that keeps your job. At the same time, everyone's like, "How does he keep his job?" But it's like it's obviously
it's
acting. Yeah, like him and McMahon had like apparently a good relationship.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how good, but
they're like you said with him and Taker and Rock and all them, they're all like buddies.
Yeah, but like his ego and persona, like it was just so cool. It was like electrifying to me. Like it was just like it was so fun watching him, and for his run, for how long he had the belt and everything he went through and all the things he watched, it was just fun watching him. And when he finally lost it, I was pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn, was I pissed. I'm gonna stop watching wrestling. I was so mad when he lost it.
Yeah, that's what happens.
But I think at the same time, I realized real quick, it's like someone's got to you got to pass the torch eventually. When I got older, I was like, I realized that. And, when I was younger, I was kind of naive and dumb, and I didn't realize. But it's like that's how emotionally invested I was into it. Now before then, I liked NWO and I liked and Generation X and stuff. I liked Triple H, and then I hated Triple H, and then I liked Triple H again.
Yeah.
He was like a big one. That's why
they call them heels and baby faces.
Yeah.
They want the heat, they want the hate, stuff like that.
I think it was that, and I always hated him spitting the water bottle on his tongue. I'm like, that's so gay. It was like I don't know why that. When I went back and watched older wrestlers, I don't know what it was, but I liked the Heartbreak Kid. I always liked him kicking people in the face and doing shit. I just loved. I thought that was like the coolest thing. To some of the flying kicks. Yeah. Ric Flair was always cool to me. I liked his woos and everything, and he was a good wrestler. But that was like in the era of like where I was like, oh, these guys are old. I don't really like these guys as much when I was a little kid. As I got older. Actually, when I first watched it, I hated The Rock. Fucking hated The Rock when I was a kid. But that was the whole ego between Stone Cold and him, right. And then I think he eventually passed it to The Rock, right? Because The Rock got so big.
Yeah, he lost to The Rock on purpose, so he could carry it on.
Yeah, and then because I think for a while those guys can only take that hype and that doing that for so long. It's like, okay.
Well, you got to think that, especially when
they're exhausting, probably.
When they're champions, it's like, okay, then what? Now what do I do? There's nothing nowhere to go. You've already hit the top. That's why they lose the belts and stuff like that all the time, because it gives them a goal and it takes people for the ride with them.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if you're on top of the world once you're the champion, nobody could. The only way somebody could is dethrone you. That's the only way you can get off your high horse.
I think as I got older, I'll be honest, I don't think I got a favorite wrestler. I just kind of liked the wrestling environment, but I think Stone Cold was just always my favorite wrestler. I don't think that will ever change because that's what I grew up on.
Right.
Right. What was your favorite match? And there's a lot, isn't there?
That's hard to say. Oh man, If you got yours, you can go ahead and talk.
I don't have mine. I don't. I just. I figured
That's the toughie. There's just so many.
I'd have to say if my okay. So maybe my favorite match, but it's my most memorable, and we've talked about it before. It's the cage match with Undertaker and Mankind. I don't know what it was about that one. Hell in a Cell. That was the fucking craziest thing I ever watched. You know, it was here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And when he threw him off the table and threw him through the goddamn cage in the tax, I thought it was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
The funny part about that is Mick told him to throw him off the edge.
Yeah.
But then the on top of the cage, that just broke. That wasn't supposed to break.
I know it wasn't.
They were laughing about it. I was watching the video.
But you see Undertaker's face, and you can tell he was like, what the fuck just happened?
Exactly.
He even said that, I think, on Rogan when I listened to him. He's like,
there's a video of they're watching that match and then calling it as they're watching it. Like, oh, yeah, remember that spot? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was telling you to throw me. I was like, no, Vic, I don't want to.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not throwing him. And then he just picked him up by his pants and just fucking tossed him on that table. And I remember the announcer was like, they didn't think
they killed him.
Yeah, killed him.
Yeah. Like, they who?
What was his name?
Jim Ross.
Jim Ross.
I used to love Jim Ross.
Jim Ross was great. I don't know who does the announcing now. He doesn't do it, right?
I have no fucking clue. Jim Ross is on AEW.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, but he doesn't do it very much because his cerebral palsy's getting bad.
He made wrestling what it was. I mean,
you have to have the commentator. If you don't have the right kind of commentator, it's going to be boring as hell. Because for one, you don't know what the moves are called. Two, they can't sell it more to you. They're kind of like the car salesman. While so and so is wrestling, they're going to try to make you hate him or make you like him. And especially like they also said like their amateur backgrounds and where they went to high school and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Ross was always the encyclopedia.
He knew everything. He knew everything about wrestling.
Him and fucking Jim Cornette.
Cornette. That's Cornette, what was it. Jim Cornette?
He was the other tennis racket.
Yeah.
He managed like Yokozuna and shit. But yeah, those guys they're sitting there trying to sell you stuff, which I thought was really cool because Jim Ross always had like Tony Schiavone with him in WCW. Then he got after a while he had what's his name? Bobby the Brain was on there, Mr. Perfect, all these other guys that were on the air with him. But for me, one of my top announcers was Joey Styles from ECW. He didn't have good guy, bad guy, back and forth banter with someone. He did the commentary by himself. Nobody was there to make fun of him or throw jokes at him or set him up for something else. He was doing the commentating by himself, which I thought was very commendable. Because it's like trying to do a podcast by yourself or call a baseball game by yourself, and you don't have somebody who could do the play-by-play with you because you had nobody to work off.
Well, it's funny that Vince McMahon started out as an announcer, but he realized he's like.
He didn't even want to be an announcer. His dad threw him on the air and said, "Hey, guess what? You're going on in 15 minutes."
Yeah, and then he became on the table with those guys. And I think the best part of the documentary I watched from him that he made sense. He goes, "If we want this to be successful, he's like, my dad doesn't realize you have to have someone who can tell the story. And if you can tell the story, then people will get engaged because they're watching something. They will buy it exactly." And that's when they found people like
Jim Ross,
and stuff, and it's like, okay, we need guys that are entertaining that can actually tell. Like every good sporting event has a good announcer.
Oh yeah,
and if you don't have one, your show's dog shit.
You're dull. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, my favorite match that is one of them on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Another one was Warrior and Hogan from WrestleMania 6
because
that was just one long ass fucking back and forth kind of thing, and even. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in
that was a good one.
WrestleMania, the Iron Man match.
Shawn won. Remember?
Yeah, Shawn won.
That was cool.
It was only 1-0, which I thought was awesome. It's just like wow. It's because usually we see Iron Man match, it's 2-3 or something like that. But no, this was one fall period, which I thought was tremendous.
I remember watching that. That was actually a really good match. I remember watching that one.
Really good one.
So my next one. I can't remember this off the top of my head, but I know you'll know a lot of them. What was your favorite storyline?
Ooh, storyline, man. If you got yours, go ahead.
I don't think I really have one, but I just always remember this one was Stone Cold, and I think I sent it to you the other day thinking about it, was when him and The Undertaker had like some beef or something, or during the time when he was the champion. And I just always remember Stone Cold taking a beer and flipping to him on the stage, and he fucking chugged it on stage.
Yeah, I've seen that like 1,000 times.
And I that storyline, whatever that was, I remember as a kid, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And they were like cool with each other after that because I think at one point everybody
they were feuding for like the longest time, but then that was like when actually like Undertaker came to save Austin.
Yes, right.
From somebody.
Right, I remember that. I thought that was one of the coolest storylines ever. I don't know why. And then when I saw that the other day, I'm like, man, I remember this from. Like, I thought it was the coolest thing when I was a kid because they were feuding. And they got together, and then like they were cool. Like Undertaker came out, he flipped them a beer, he chugged a beer, and all the Austin fans went nuts for it or whatever.
Right.
And then for a while, they were just on good terms, you know. And I thought that was cool because everybody feared Undertaker. He wasn't cool with anybody.
Right.
You know,
he was an asshole.
He was a loner.
Yeah, he was the ministry evil satanic kind of guy, kind of thing.
And like you said, I do remember in the '90s when that fucking bell rung and the lights went off, dude. That was fucking.
Dude, you hear that? You hear that dong, that first bong of his.
Yeah.
The bell is awesome.
Yeah.
Especially whenever we saw him when I was little, they would purposely turn on the air conditioners right at that moment, and you got that cold chill, and you see the smoke, and then you see the purple light and all the black light and stuff like that, and it's just like you know what's going on.
His intro was cool. It was one of the coolest.
He always had the best intros.
And I always thought it was cool. And when I got to see it live when it was here in Missouri one time, and when his came on, dude, it felt like it was forever. Like his intro took forever because he walked down all slow and
he wasn't all hyping up.
But he didn't have. Sometimes he had Paul Bearer, but I noticed this one when he came on, he didn't have Paul Bearer with him at that time.
Sometimes Paul Bearer died, not early 2000s.
Okay.
But he also didn't have a manager for a little while because Paul Bearer was sick or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember when he had Blubber Love. I mean, Brother Love was his.
Brother Love, I remember that.
We call him Blubber Love.
Yeah. So anyway, go back to any storylines.
Yeah, storylines. I loved it when DX was picking on WCW.
I do remember
a lot of times they were
that.
assholes about that. They got in the Jeep and they tried to get into the same arena as WCW was playing in and stuff like that. I loved that. That was.
Did they come in and try to just like troll him and like during a live show or something?
They tried to. Yeah, they tried to get in the arena, but they wouldn't let him come in.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they banned him or something like that. And even when WCW was live, but WWE wasn't, and WCW spoiled their the main events for WWE stuff. Like
I do remember that. You told me that. That was cool.
So many times they did that, and it's just like, why even watch Raw now? I already know what fuck happens.
Yeah.
Mankind wins the title. Well, fuck.
Yeah.
What's the point?
I think this is funny too because someone's brought this up on Reddit, and no one ever got the answer. And I wanted to ask you this because this is something that's come up in my head was. Did the guys from WCW and WWE, did they hate each other?
No.
Or were they all cool?
I don't think all of them were cool, but a lot of them were.
That's what I heard too. I was like, dude,
you got to think a lot of
they
them,
all worked in the same business and they knew each other.
They knew each other, yeah. They always bounced back and forth between companies too.
Yeah.
A lot of them had, like, especially like Ric Flair, he's been around like forever, stayed in contact with people. It's just like musicians, you don't see them together, but you know they're together. Or even times where like Deborah was in WCW, but she was married to Austin in WWE, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew that they were friends. People knew that they were friends. It's just not all the time, so to say. They didn't show it. They tried to hide it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a thing called kayfabe, which means they're acting like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like Razor Ramon and Diesel got in trouble for their very last match in WWE when they went to WCW to start the NWO stuff, because there was those two against Triple H and Shawn Michaels in a cage match. Well, there actually is like footage of them hugging after the match.
Okay.
This was like when they're supposed to be sworn enemies. They were hugging after the match because
Oh, that was their last match.
That's the last match in the Federation. So
I remember that. I think that showed that in a documentary.
They got Vince McMahon got pissed off about that and fined them.
Yeah.
And WCW didn't do anything because they weren't signed with them yet.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, and then you see like.
That's right, because in the documentary they talk about Vince McMahon getting really pissed off about it, and he's like, they weren't supposed to do that, and he's like, but they did it anyway.
Yeah. They told them not to do it, and they flat out said, "Fuck you, I'm going to do it."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how a lot of people blur the lines between good guys and bad guys anymore. There are who's a good guy, who's a bad guy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that anymore. Ever since the Attitude Era and stuff like that, you don't. People like the anti-hero. They like the Venom and not instead of Spider-Man or something like that. It's just that's all people are. They like the bad guy sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, you have to have someone that's a villain because if you don't, then you can't like everybody that's good.
Yeah.
Because then who's going to be playing?
How you gonna know if anything sucks if nothing sucks?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, storyline that's the best one I remember was when I was a kid. I mean, I'm sure there's better ones.
Oh, there's probably plenty.
But I don't know. This is going to be very subjective, and you know, who's the best wrestler of all time?
That's hard to say. Because you got the showman, you got the actual wrestler, you got the glitz and the glamour, you got the guy who makes money, who made enough money, who's done enough achievements.
This question's getting asked, and nobody can really answer it. I think
it's hard, dude. It's
because
everybody's got opinion.
Well, it's a matter of opinion, but also it's like there's so many categories of things that wrestlers do that you can't just put yourself in one. So if we'll just put it this way: who is the best baby face and who's the best heel?
That's even harder because a lot of them switch back and forth.
Well, to me, the best heel was Undertaker. Okay. I don't think anybody beats him in my area of people.
See, he goes back again. One of those the fan favorite, then heel, then face. You know, it's hard to say.
I mean, everybody's gonna have their areas of what it was. He was always the dark guy, or maybe and I don't remember him being a baby face.
I did all the time, dude. A lot of times
really?
He was, yeah.
I just don't remember him. I don't ever when I see him and think of him. That's what I mean. Like perception wise. He's not a babyface to me ever.
He became a babyface his first time in WWE when he saved the Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
Macho Man was what the fuck was it? What the hell was it? Oh, Macho Man got beat Jake the Snake Roberts, and he was walking back to the backstage area, and Jake the Snake was behind the curtain waiting with a steel chair, and Taker grabbed the chair from him, and that's when fans liked him then because he saved Macho Man.
I kind of do remember.
And there are other times where, like when he teamed with Lex Luger and the Steiner Brothers in WWE, and at Survivor Series, he had an American flag underneath his cape, which he got or his hood, overall, whatever jacket. People gave him shit about that because it looked so fucking ridiculous. If you watch his podcast, his 6 Feet Under podcast, it's fucking hilarious. He has so many stories with people, and it's just like, wow, dude, I didn't even think about that, or that, it's thanks for the secret information kind of shit. It's hilarious. He just goes on and on and about behind the scenes stories of, he gave someone a receipt, which basically means he actually punched him. He had to use a way around it so he wouldn't get in trouble for saying that. But
is that what he did?
Yeah, he said he came back to the back and I gave him a receipt. But stuff like it's if you listen to the podcast, watch it, whatever. It's mostly I've seen on reels. I haven't really listened to it.
Okay,
but it's really some really funny ass shit that went up behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would have to say if I had to choose one wrestler of all time, I mean, I'll just be honest, and this is probably the most predictable answer for anybody in the 90s, early 80s. And you already know who it is. I'm going to say
Austin.
No, not even Austin. No? I think I'm going to say Hulk Hogan.
Oh, fuck him, dude.
I know you're saying fuck him. I know you can't stand him. The reason I just say it is because when you think of wrestling from that era, that's the first name you think of, and because he was Mr. America, represented, like Mr. McMahon promoted him. Everybody wanted to be fucking Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, right.
He was in movies. I mean, he was just everywhere. Like he was like the standard of like what it is to be on top in there. Not saying he's the best wrestler. Well, I'll say
he's the best showman.
Maybe the best showman. Yeah, you're probably right. The best showman. We'll say that. That's the only reason I'm saying that is because like when I was a kid, it's like everybody talked about him. Everybody had his gear. Like it was everywhere. And to this day, people still fucking love the guy. Like he's just.
I don't know why. He's all about himself, man. He's so self-centered and.
Well, sure.
It's all him.
But isn't that most wrestlers back in those days? That's Ric Flair. It's a lot of people.
Well, because they wanted the money. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But now it's. I mean. Hogan went as far as like to rat his friends out so they get in trouble kind of stuff.
Yeah,
which wasn't good.
Yeah,
that nowadays that would get your ass beat.
He was saving his ass back then.
He was saving his own ass,
and he's saving Vince McMahon. Well, he did save Vince McMahon's ass.
They saved each other's ass.
Yeah,
especially with other steroid stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, he shut all that shit down. Even though people were like, "Well, whatever," and he pretty much had Vince's back because he knew what was going to happen.
We all knew what was going on.
Yeah,
they just weren't caught.
People just didn't like Vince because what he was doing and making money, and they wanted to shut it down, and blah blah blah.
Ted Turner wanted him to lose so he can lose WWE.
And they came back, and Vince came back and fucking bought him out and shut him down.
I always thought that was a great storyline.
That's a great storyline.
It was him actually buying his competition.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, dude. And that's when they became even the bigger conglomerate.
Yeah. When it became WWE, we can't talk about it, but when they combined and became WWE, and both wrestlers are in one federation and everything else under one rink or whatever you want to call it, ring, it was cool. It was cool to see.
It was very cool, but I didn't like. Okay, this is just me talking.
I didn't like a lot of WCW. Well, I'll be honest. When I was a WCW and WWF kid or whatever, WWE, I didn't like most of WCW wrestlers. I wanted them out. I didn't care about their storylines and care about their shit. And I'm glad a lot of them just started getting weeded out eventually.
I just wish that they brought in certain people and didn't bring in other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Chuck and Billy team, it was basically Chuck Palumbo and Billy Gunn.
I don't even fucking. Oh yeah, I remember Billy Gunn.
They were like the ambiguously gay duo, basically.
Billy Gunn.
on those two, because they were always hugging each other and all over each other in excitement, but they pushed them to make look like they were gay, which was kind of stupid. But that's what Vince wanted. Mm-hmm. But then people like Jeff Jarrett, who had really bad terms with Vince McMahon, didn't want to bring him in, or people who got paychecks for sitting at home because Vince didn't want them to wrestle, so he just said, I don't want you. I'll pay you for sitting on your ass. Which because a lot of times, a lot of them were still in their contracts because everything that came with WCW, even their contracts was in there. So Vince had to get pay for all that shit, and he didn't want to deal with a lot of those guys. Some of them even got like maybe 2-3 matches at that tops, and then they disappeared. Like Buff Bagwell, he only had one match, and then Vince is like, "Nah, I ain't gonna use. I can't use you," and got rid of him. He was great in WCW. I remember when he made his fucking debut when he was his whole Marcus Alexander Bagwell, like a little kid from right out of university and stuff like that, and then he blew up into be a cocky gigolo.
Yeah, the gigolo.
He was actually on the Gigolo show.
I remember that.
I was just like, dude.
I remember that. I think he was just playing his character and doing it. What he was supposed to do.
I don't know. He was just, he had the body, but I don't know if he had the equipment.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It was. You think about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, table always, like always.
Tim's got to make his noise 40 times a podcast. Yeah, so wrestling then versus now, to me, the wrestling will never be better than what is in the 90s. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says.
Now it's not so much wrestling. Now it's more like acrobatics.
I don't even care. To me, the storylines and just wrestling were so much fun. I watched the 80s. Sure, probably the 80s were probably like the real peak of wrestling, where you got all the stuff that became what it was. But then, I mean, you grew up with it. But to me, the 90s was always the best in the early 2000s. And then after that, it's been shit to me ever since. Right. That shit just... It didn't keep me intrigued.
It didn't peel you, yeah.
Didn't peel me anymore. But I still kept up with someone, like you said, still what was going on, like John Cena, all the new guys, and and all the new people that were in it, and a lot of it's cool. It's just not my cup of tea. Cool. It's not as cool. Yeah. I don't know.
It's understandable.
What do you think about it? Anything else to say about the wrestling topic?
No, not that one.
Not that one.
Yeah, you another one.
No, yeah, I do. Actually, I forgot to put this in. Sorry, guys. We're going back to my Thanksgiving topic real quick. I forgot that I put down what are actual Thanksgiving movies.
Oh fuck yeah!
So
I can think of a few horror movies, but other than that, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I put that on there. That's like the most popular one.
We watched it. That's why I know. Dutch, of course.
Yep, I put that one on there as well. And you know what? That's an underrated movie.
It is.
So many people don't give Dutch the time.
They don't even know about it.
It's such a good Thanksgiving movie, but it's just a good movie in general.
Yeah, it's a good buddy. It's like a buddy comedy.
It's a movie where people start out as enemies and they become friends at the end.
Basically, yeah.
And that's a good story to tell. And especially between a kid and a guy that might be playing your stepdad.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
He's not really his dad; he's his mom's boyfriend, but you consider him, and he considers him like a stepdad at the end.
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah. Now some of these are kind of funny that I put on here.
Okay.
But I think it has to do with like a correlation of anything. It's like if they have Christmas in the movie or something else, they consider it a Thanksgiving movie. So, well, this one's stupid. Thanksgiving is in the title, so we already talked about that. Spider-Man, the original one.
Oh yeah.
Because they have Thanksgiving. They have Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
At Peter's house or someone's house. Not Peter's house, but
apartment,
their apartment. That's Aunt May's apartment. It's their apartment. Grumpy Old Men.
Ah,
yeah.
Yes. I fucking love that movie.
It's great.
Both of them.
Just a great movie. You can't get better than Walter Matthau and the other guy, whatever his name is.
Jack Benny.
Yeah, great movie.
I love the Jack Lemmon. The at the end credits when they have the outtakes. That's shit's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Burgess Meredith especially like, come on.
I heard a lot of stuff they would say like it was just like them. Like there was some of what level wasn't scripted.
Yeah, they just whatever it was on top of their head. That's what they said.
Adam's Family Values.
Yes.
They had the Thanksgiving in there. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's a good one. This is an obvious one because this is just something if you grew up in the 90s kid or even probably in the 80s. The Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I never watched that.
I never either, but it was just it was big, like just like Charlie Brown Christmas and everything.
Garfield Christmas. Thanksgiving.
I was about to say I have Garfield in here too. Apparently Garfield Thanksgiving was a big one too.
Yeah.
And I forgot about this movie, and I thought this was funny too. It was Rocky. You remember when he has that quote about fucking Thanksgiving?
Jesus Christ!
Oh, that was the last one. That was the last one on there that people were like, "Yeah, it's kind of a Thanksgiving movie." It was Rocky. I'm like, I don't ever put that on there. But he has the Rocky. He has the Thanksgiving part where in that quote, what does he say? He's like, "You might think it's Thanksgiving. I think it's something else." I can't remember what the fuck he said.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But
those are the Thanksgiving movies on there. And like, I don't have any bad ones. Those are just the Thanksgiving movies I had.
That's just hardly. That's about it. That's about all of them.
There's other ones.
There's the Hallmark movies. Like that,
people put Hallmark ones on there, and there's
the ones that we would watch.
Yeah, there's other ones that are on there. I'm like, half of them I never heard of, and some of them are like kid movies and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, these are the ones that they actually show during Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that would be cool if they made more Thanksgiving movies.
Yes and no. I mean, there's just Thanksgiving movies just run into almost pretty much like a Christmas movie. It's the same premise, different holiday.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. You get the family together and shenanigans happen. Even like. If you think about like Home Alone as the Thanksgiving movie instead of Christmas, and it'd still be the same fucking movie, stuff like that. Those two holidays just run together anymore.
Yep, I agree.
And in real life, it's the same way. That's why people don't really care about Thanksgiving much anymore.
I care about it. It doesn't. I like the food. I like the preparation. I liked it more. I'll be honest when I was like, I actually liked it a lot when I was dating girls and go to their houses and do stuff, or just my family's house, and I was single and doing stuff.
Yeah,
I always thought it was fun, but
it was free food.
Well, it was free food, and it was like the first time I was experiencing it as an adult. So I think I liked it a little bit more then when I was like my 21 or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is a little bit more fun when you're an adult. Like that's when it was like exciting to me, Thanksgiving. Right. And now it's just Thanksgiving again to me. Yeah. But I like to see my family. Like we always talk
that's
about.
Understandable. Yeah,
that's like the best part. Like everybody gets together. Like you said earlier, it's like nobody gets together.
Right.
Nobody in my family does the big huge Thanksgivings anymore. Like or. People are trying to, like my Aunt Teresa, who is my dad's sister.
My dad's
she is trying to put back together the huge Van Isgum Thanksgiving. Now this year we didn't go there over there, but a bunch of people did, and she's trying to have it like at her house, and it's like, it's just Grandma was the fucking glue that held everything to her mom. It's like her going, like all those traditions kind of died, and people are made their own new traditions. Now she's trying to bring it back. And I think people will come, but we have such huge families now with all these kids and stuff. It's just not the same, man. Yeah. I don't know who's going to take over the reins. I think she wants to be that person. If she does, great. I'll go over there and do it with my family, but it's just different, So, now that we're off Thanksgiving and wrestling, guys, we're going to go off to our side topics. Random shit. You want to go with yours first?
No, you go with yours first.
You save you last?
I got mine, yeah.
Okay. Here's my topic. It's always a thinker, Tim. So,
I know.
Are most adults unhappy because life does not offer them any breaks like it did when they were a kid or like in high school or college? So do you think people are as an adult are more unhappy because they just don't get any time to actually stop and smell the roses, we can say? Or do you think that some people do and they have a better time as adults? I
think it's better time is when they're kids because it's less stressful being a kid because you have less responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to pay bills. You don't have to pick up the kids from school. You don't have to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning and get off at 7 o'clock later than you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have so many errands to do. When you're a kid, you woke up, you went to school, you came home. You smoked or did whatever, you ate dinner, you went to bed, repeat.
Yeah.
And not one of those things where you're paying bills until you got older and you were old enough to pay for your own pager or your own cell phone bill. That kind of stuff.
The way I look at it, it's the grind. Like as an adult, you wake up and your laundry list is so long and you don't, and even if it's not considered like a real like to-do list to some people, it's like it's still you're busy all the time. You wake up, like you said, if you have children, even if you don't have children, you wake up, you got to go to work. Go to work all day, you come home.
Sometimes you go home, you go to work, go home, go sick. You're sick.
You're sick. You come home, you might make dinner, sit on the couch, and you go to bed, and it's rinse and repeat, right? But as a kid, like you said, even though it's kind of hard, like you go to school all day, but you get Thanksgiving breaks, you get summer breaks for 3 months. In high school you get a break. You get spring break. You get pretty much all these different types of breaks, and even in college, and you still, even though you're like busier as you get older, you still get a lot of breaks. You still get a lot of downtime. As an adult, there's not much downtime unless you're just a piece of garbage, or if you don't, maybe you're single and by yourself and you have all the free time in your world. It kind of goes backwards, because I know I have plenty of people I know that wish they were busy. They wish they had a spouse. They wish they were busy. They have all the free time in the world and they're bored and shit, and they do the same thing over and over again. And it's like, dude, in your 30s, like you want what everybody else has, but then at the same time, the grass is always greener. You want what you wanted, what you used to have, like where I had free time and downtime. It's like you always want what you can't have, right?
Always, yeah.
And that's why I look at it. It's like, I wouldn't trade my life for anything. I enjoy my life, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't want to trade with someone for a week to have some downtime. But at the same time, it's like it would get boring. Like if you weren't a kid and you don't get to enjoy it and you're not hanging out with your friends and doing stuff, it was a lot more enjoyable back then. But as you get older, you kind of want to keep your routine and keep what you're used to doing, and I know, like I was saying earlier, it's like I know plenty of people that are single and like they have a lot of money and they do whatever, but at the same time they don't look happy. They're not happy, man. Right. They look miserable.
Money doesn't buy happiness.
Right, we've talked about that. But more money doesn't buy happiness, but it does make things easier. It does make things a little bit more less stressful, Right. Everybody wants money. I mean, fuck, I could deal. I wish I had a bunch of money at Lex right now.
Me both.
But I do agree, like you don't get any breaks as an adult. Yeah. I don't care if you're the richest person in the world, like people are still busy. They still got shit shown on, going on, doing stuff. Now you might have a little bit easier than most people, but you're still busy. Like if you still want to have a life and just, unless you just sit in your house and play video games all day, then you might not be busy. But
still,
that's just the way I look at it. So I think most adults are unhappier because of the grind. I think they're happy, but they're unhappy because they're stuck in this loop.
Not as happy as they would be.
The way I guess I could put it is, someone put it, but it's like adulting nowadays is kind of just like Groundhog Day. You wake up, it's Groundhog Day every day. And I'll never forget this one time. My buddy Brandon on our other podcast, my buddy Sam said this, and it always stuck with me. And this was like 7 or 8 years ago. He said, one day I was driving my car to work, and he goes, "There has to be something better than what we do with our life now. Like you're telling me this is the best we got. Like we wake up in the morning, we go to work." We come home, we cook dinner, we might have time to play a game or go to the gym or do something. You set out your clothes for the next day, you go to sleep, and rinse and repeat the rest of the week. It's like, it's like it was fine at first because it was exciting and new, but after a while it becomes old and boring and the same thing. And he's like, you get so burnt out. He's like, there's got to be something better. And my buddy Sam goes, well, if there was a better system, obviously we'd do it, but like this is the best we got. This is the best everybody's got, whatever. And most people don't have anything. Most people wish you had a good job and they had some of the stuff. So like you can't take what you have for granted. But also, yeah, it does suck, at the same time. And I thought about it, I sat down, I was like, yeah, dude, there's got to be a better thing. And it's like that's why I don't take what I have for granted for like work-life balance, because I don't want to go back to that grind of waking up at 6 o'clock and doing all the bullshit and you were saying, whatever. So it is Groundhog Day. Everything's the same. I feel like it's rinse and repeat, waking up, if my dog shit at my house and my kids are doing something or whatever's going on. It's like I deal with the same stuff. It's not the same stuff every day, but it's pretty much similar to the same stuff every day. So yeah, it's just what it is. It is Groundhog Day as an adult. What do you think?
Definitely. I mean, if you think about it, like you said, you're doing the same stuff every day, there might be a little something extra one day or a little less something the next day or whatever, but still you're still doing the same routine. But if you think about it too, if doing the same routine could make you happy because you're not stuck doing something else, you could wake up, go to work, go to lunch, get off work, or go pick up the kids, get off work, go home, or would you rather get up, I don't know, wheel to the wheelchair, wheel to the couch, and that's it. And then eat, go to bed.
Eat, sleep, and shit.
Yeah, you got to think about people who don't have what you have, but at least you have a routine where you can time things down to get those things done every single day.
I agree.
Other people can't.
I agree.
Because there's less fortunate people that like I said, with handicapped people or even like homeless people, you at least you have a job you can go to. At least you have kids to play with. Other people are lonely. They're not doing anything. They have no friends. They live in a shelter or something like that. It's just a lot of people take stuff like that for granted. Would I love to wake up one day and just go, I don't want to do a goddamn thing. I want to take a whiz, go back to bed.
Mm-hmm.
How many times I wished I could do that? I wish I could.
Dude, today
I don't have a job.
I woke up at 6:30, and all I could think about was like, I just want to go back to bed.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. Granted, like I said, plus with me, I don't work, so I don't have a job. I don't really have a real routine except for, when I'm cleaning the house or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I do want more things to do. I do want to have a car to go somewhere to hang out with people, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't take what I have for granted because it's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, you're still able. You're still doing all the stuff you still doing things you enjoy or whatever. And it's like that same thing with me. I don't take it for granted. As an adult, you realize, even with your kid, like there's always gonna be things you have to do that you don't want to do that suck. But at the same time, you have to do it. And as an adult, you have responsibilities. Like you have a house or you have car payment or whatever you have to do, or whatever. Like you have to keep up with stuff, and it sucks. It's the errands that you don't want to do, but when it's all said and done, you appreciate. At least I appreciate when it's all said and done. It's like I have all this stuff, right? But it's not just for me; it's for my family. That's why I do it or whatever. Right. And the same thing with you. It's like you have stuff that you enjoy, hobbies and everything else, but at the same time, I think just a lot of people they get depressed and they get burnt out because they're not going anywhere. Like they're just some people are just really stuck in this rut.
They're circling the drain.
Yeah.
Basically.
And they're just like, where am I going? What is this leading to? Like, is things going to be better? And I think a lot of people are just afraid to take chance now because they just don't know what's the outcome. Like, can get better. I think if any advice I give anybody to listen, it's like if you're stuck in a spot and it's worse, it's like go do something different.
Yeah.
That you have
can't
to
change the world. What's the word? You can't change the world. It's something basically saying like if you want to change the world, go change it.
Mm-hmm.
Change your world.
If you want to change something, no one's going to do it for you. Pretty much you have to do it yourself, right? Like that person that's out there is like, there's nobody that wakes up and is like, hey, I got offered this and got all this free shit. It's like, no, everybody had to put hard work to get into where they're at now. And people always forget, they're like, oh, this person's privileged and all this sort of stuff. It's like most people aren't privileged. The 99% of people aren't privileged. They come from something or nothing and they work their ass. I mean, sorry, they don't come from anything. They come from nothing and they make it to what they have now. Right? Exactly. I'm sure some people get lucky and certain things happen for certain people, and those are always going to be outliers. It's not the rule. But if you look at anybody who's successful, like an athlete or a musician or an actor, and you listen to their stories, a lot of times where these people come from, like, they had like hardships or they had things that happened to them in their lives that made them stronger and whatever, or made them better. They just worked their ass off and they grinded, and then the success and all the fame and everything came with it. No one handed it to them, right?
Exactly.
And some
advantages are taken, not handed out.
And this guy said it best, and then I'll shut up about that. Is like some coach and other players have all said the same thing. It's like talent only gets you so far with a lot of stuff. Hard work they'll take every day because the hard work will outwork and outdo any person with talent. It's like that's true, and that goes for anything in life. I don't care if it's just a job or a sport, or it could be anything. Just you doing a better job and putting the effort in will get you farther. So, my next topic is this. It's not even a topic. It's kind of just the same, but I think it's kind of funny that we could talk about it. Is adult life is being excited for the weekend and then too exhausted to do anything. And I was like, you know what? That kind of hit home because
Say that one more time.
Adult life is being excited for the weekend because you want to get off work and do all this stuff, but then when the weekend gets here, you're too exhausted to do anything.
Very true.
And it hit home with me because I'm like, dude, that sounds so stupid. But when I was younger and then I was like, okay, as I got older, I realized it's like that's true because do I get excited for the weekend? Yes, that's just to be off work, but now my weekends are just as busy as my weekdays, or maybe sometimes even busier because of other things I couldn't get to during the week because of work and other errands that we got going on and activities.
Yeah.
By the time it comes the weekend, I'm just so exhausted mentally. It's like, all I want, like I was saying earlier, it's like all I want to do is a break, and Sunday's usually my break. It's like I just want to lounge around and sleep in and just eat food and hang out and just kind of like blah. Like I want to give myself a mental break and a physical break in both, and I don't want to deal with anybody's shit. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything, but it doesn't really stop for that. But I think it's right. It's like adult life is just you're always busy, and the weekends used to be the most exciting time as a kid, and when you're single, and when you didn't have much stuff going on. But like now, to me, the weekend's just another day. It is nice. I do enjoy hey, it's Friday night. I don't like people say Friday. I cannot stand that Friday bullshit.
It's annoying.
Anybody that says that, listen to my podcast, you can go kill yourself.
In game.
Yeah. And I just think that, it's cool. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is great, but I have my traditions and my routines I do on every weekend, but it's just another day to me. I'm just off work now. That's it. That's the difference. That's the only difference as an adult now. Like the busyness doesn't stop. And to me, it's just, you might get some better movies. Like, the movies are better on Friday nights and Saturday nights or whatever, and even Sundays or whatever. And there's some other things to do, but the reality is like I make my own list of fun stuff. Like I don't go out. I don't care about going out and spending much of money anymore on the weekends and doing stuff unless it's with my kids. I just don't. I just don't care. Or I care about going to hang out with my friends and do stuff, but everything's so expensive now, and this is not an excuse. It's just reality of what it is. It's like nobody wants to go out to dinner and spend $100 on dinner and drinks when you can go home and eat and just
spend $100 on groceries.
Yeah, spend $100 groceries and get nothing.
Things.
Get 3 things. Exactly. I don't know. That's just what I think about it. What do you think?
Yeah, and like you said, it's the weekend is like that. That's all it is. It's just the weekend. Mm-hmm. And especially with like holidays, a lot of times, especially when we were kids, we were growing up, and we had Labor Day off, or we had Columbus Day off and stuff like that. Now it's just like it's just another day of the week. Like, and it's or even the holidays even gone. It's not Columbus Day anymore. It's Indigenous Peoples Day.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that word. Right?
Indigenous People Day.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And you don't think about that kind of. You take that shit for granted.
Well, I think the other thing, when correct, we just had too many holidays. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, and it's just there's just too many days that just the days run together, and it's whatever anymore. Your day's off, then that's when you want to relax, or you want to try to relax, or you want to try to get things done that you couldn't get done during the week. And it's good to have a partner that can help you do those things where you could, they could do certain of them. But, if you're by yourself, you're stuck doing them all by yourself, and then you don't even think, you don't have a day off, so to say.
That's correct.
And even people do 2 jobs sometimes. They work on those weekends. They work a different job, that's all. They don't work the same job. And it all depends on the person, I keep saying, I don't know why. But it's one of those things. It's when you grow up, you realize life does not just stop. You have to keep going.
Yeah, I agree. I just wish, as an adult, and being exhausted and all that stuff, I wish I had childhood energy.
Yes.
I think people
if I had an ounce of Lincoln's energy or somebody's like that, yes.
I mean, my son. And now that's just not everybody. This is, I think, most boys. Because I think I remember myself being this. But my son is pretty. I'm not caring what anybody says. I'm gonna say he's special in my own ways. But the kid's got so much damn energy. I could let him go play
3 hockey games in one fucking day.
3 hockey games in one day, and he'll come home
and do his birthday party.
And do his birthday party. But no joke. He came that last week. We did 3 hockey games, 3 ice hockey games. Right. Yeah. Roller hockey is exhausting, but nothing like ice hockey.
Right.
And we went 3 hockey games. Like, I'm tired. Get home. The first thing he does when he gets home, after he takes a shower and gets home, he takes out his hockey net and he wants to play shinny for 3 hours.
There you go.
And
see,
then,
what the fuck?
And he's like, I'm tired, but I want to play hockey. And it's like, you're not tired. Like, that's not tired. Tired's like, go lay on the couch. Tired means go lay on the couch and relax, bud.
Right.
Now, sometimes he does get home and he relaxes, but it's a short relax. It's like 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, and boom, back up and ready to fucking go.
He's got that power charge. Lightning's faster.
Yeah, he's got his second or third wind in. It's like, I'm very hyperactive. Like, I'm very energetic and do stuff. But it don't last as long as it used to. And as you get older, obviously, because you're old and shit, it lasts for a while, and then all of a sudden you crash, and you need more naps or you need more rest time. I'm trying to explain that to my son, and it's like, I don't want to be like that. But it's just your age, But it's also because we are juggling 5,000 more things we weren't. My brain is getting worked out all the time from doing work and taking care of all the other things I have to take care of in life. And it's like, you just don't realize how the mental exhaustion is just as bad as the physical exhaustion.
Oh, yeah,
of
course, yeah.
When you're a kid, you're like, I just want to play video games.
Right.
I just want to play sport.
Right.
Okay, cool. That's all you have to worry about today? Cool. You get to eat some Cheerios and fucking just lay down and watch some tunes or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
take
like,
a nap
cool.
whenever you want.
Yeah. A lot nicer. So, That's it. Those are my adult topics.
Okay.
Like I always like to bring up the adult topics.
Random talking.
Your random adult topics.
Mine's gonna be something different we've never done before.
Okay.
You ever heard of Mad Libs?
Nope.
Mad Libs is basically where I ask you for a
Mad liberals.
like no, no, like a noun. You give me a noun or an adverb or a adjective, and I fill out the lines, and then I read you a story with the words you gave me.
Okay.
All right. Basically, the story starts is two teenagers, hooligans, tried to light something on fire. I need a noun from you.
A noun.
Person, place, or thing.
Trash can.
Trash can. Okay. Another noun.
Hockey rink.
Okay. No, what rink, idiot, not Reeve. Another noun.
We'll say Tim.
Okay. Adverb. I don't know. Give me a. Moronically. I'll say that.
Okay. That's a good one.
Another noun.
Person, place, or thing. How about
TV.
TV?
Okay.
We'll say TV.
A past tense verb.
Let's see.
Verb is an action.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking of one.
Say skated.
Skated, or no, hold on. Something in the woods.
Something in the woods.
Yeah.
Shit in the woods.
Shit in the woods.
Shitted in the woods.
Took a shit in the woods.
Shat in the woods. We'll say shat. Another an adjective.
Man, I feel like I'm in school.
I know,
now.
right? I had to look some of these up. Like, what was that again? This is like something that describes a noun.
Let's see.
Like gray.
I know. I'm trying to think of a good one I can use.
Remember, the story is try to light something on fire.
What's a word I could use for that? Clever.
Okay. Plural noun.
Fucking plural. Jesus, dude. Mm-hmm. Plural noun. Let's see. Maybe. Let's see. I'm trying to think what goes along with the story. Does it have? I don't know. Socks.
Okay. A verb.
Let's see. Incurrence. Let's think of something that's incurrence.
Just an action, that's all.
An action?
Yeah.
I don't know, drive.
Okay. All right. Let's hear your story.
Okay.
Two teenage
Just read it.
Two teenage trash cans tried to light a hockey rink on fire. Suddenly, they was caught by the Tim and had to escape moronically through a TV. The children slid down swiftly, but to no appeal they did make it. The police shot them, handcuffed the delinquents, and placed them in the back of the car. Them, being clever socks that they are, proceeded to drive in the back of the cop car. Then all the sins established, the car lit on fire by the hands of the devil, and the kids changed.
That was where the fuck do you find this stuff?
I saw John Cena do it on Jimmy Fallon one night.
Oh, really?
And then I've been wanting to do these.
Oh, okay, that's cool. But is this a random website that does them? Whatever you just fill in the blanks.
You just type in the blank.
That's cool. That's different.
I was gonna do another one with you as soon as this Start reloads.
No, you do one this time. You make it up. And I get to hear it.
All right.
You get to ask. You.
See, I don't know the story until after I fill it out.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Just fill it out and we'll do it.
All right. Let's pick. One evening. Oh, that's only one. What the hell? That's lame as hell. It's just one sentence. How they met. No, that's only three. What the hell, people?
While we're sitting here talking, when you're jacking around over there with your stupid stuff. All
right. Now this next one called "My Dirty Little Pole Dancing Secret."
Okay.
We're both going to do it.
All right. Go ahead.
Intro is, it started innocently enough at a chair dancing class in Baltimore last summer. We'll do a adverb.
Okay.
I will say, let's go back with moronically again, because that one was pretty good.
Okay.
If I can spell it right. I'm a moron if I can't, because I just did it.
What's obvious?
A woman's name. You do this one.
Woman's name?
Yes.
Jessica.
Okay. Adjective. Swiftly. I don't know how much you like to say Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Another adjective.
Fast. Is it swiftly and fast the same
no,
thing?
No, it's a verb. Oh. No, it's a different
one. Run?
No, it's a verb. Adjective.
Oh, adjective.
Something that describes a verb. Like small, big.
No, I know.
Little.
Massive.
Okay. Now you need an adjective. I'll say clumsy. Another adjective.
Foot. That's fucking with you.
Oh, you stick mine up yours. Hairy.
I don't know.
Shaved.
Long.
Okay. A verb present tense. Fucking. A noun.
You pick it out.
Mushroom.
There you go.
An adjective. Since you're so good at them.
Soccer ball.
Soccer. No, that's not even one either. A ball. No, ball's not one either. That's a noun.
Puck. You.
That's not.
You say adjective?
Yes.
I don't know. Happy. No, fearless.
Fearless. Okay. Come on.
What was that?
Probably the dog or the cat. Let's see. Verb. Let's see. Kick. No, you need a verb.
Let's see. A verb.
Oh, that might be it.
Let's see.
It could have been UPS.
Punch.
Okay. In fact, it probably is UPS. A pronoun. Let's.
Pronoun.
Yes. Her? No, you need a pronoun.
Pronoun. He.
Okay. Now I need another one. A lion. You need a preposition or subordinating conjunction. I'll do that for you. And need another adverb.
You should be. I thought you said you're doing this. You should be picking all this shit out.
Fine. What's about it? Okay. What did that?
I don't know. Anger.
I got you. Don't worry.
Eagerly. Should have some of the stuff written out before we came out here. Now we got all this dead air. It's all your fault.
I'll say I'm gonna.
No.
Anyway, I got you. Don't worry.
All right.
You talk, and I'll finish this up. I got a few more left anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Well, the weather's been shitty. About that.
It's fucking cold. If I'm cold, everybody else is cold.
Well, it's funny. Our weather always goes cold here in Missouri, folks, and then all of a sudden it's going to go back to being the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, it's going to be 50s tomorrow.
And then
back down to cold ass again.
But then again, eventually it's going to be really cold again, and then yeah, I love the cold weather. And I can't. I don't mind it. I just don't like when it's windy. The cold doesn't bother me. It's just when the wind bothers me. I guess that's pretty much everybody, I'm assuming. Right. But yeah, I think since it's got cold outside, everybody's kind of been like a hermit crab. Like nobody wants to do anything and stuff. And I'll be honest, I like it because I don't like doing shit. I want to sit at home.
Dude, there's too many people outside.
Huh?
There's too many people outside.
Have you? Here's something I've noticed. And this might just be me, and it maybe just be with the times. But I don't know if I brought this up before or not. But have you noticed that there's always fucking millions of people on the road? Doesn't matter what time the goddamn day it is.
Yeah, more people are out now.
Like just more people. Like I know people.
I miss the COVID times when nobody was on the road.
I mean, I do remember like when I was a kid and getting out of high school for work release around like 11:30, 12. I mean, I'd see people out for lunch, but the amount of cars, the amount of people I see all day long on the roads, it's astronomical. Either that means there's more people that live here, or there's more people that don't work, or more people that work from home. I think that's one thing. Probably more people that work from home and running errands all day. But I think there's a lot of people that just don't work. I just think that's just what it is, in my opinion.
Probably is. All right, here we go. My dirty little pole dancing secret. It started, moronically enough, at a chair dancing class in Jessica last summer. That made sense. Mm-hmm. The instructor was joyful. She had no inhibitions. She told us what to do. Lift this, squeeze that, shake this, swivel that. Mm-hmm. I tried it. I felt swiftly and massive. And strange. For a full hour, all the conflict and confusion that single life in New York had congealed into my sexuality was gone. Mm-hmm. After class, the empty pole studio down the hall caught my eye. I wanted to climb. Mm-hmm. 10 months later, I have to climb past 3 floors of porn and inflated body parts to get to the wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling selection of stripper shoes at the DVD depot on 8th Avenue. After about 100 hours of pole class in New York, I needed a new pair. The cherry clumsy patented leather coating on the left one has torn, exposing a milky white long substance beneath. Mm-hmm. The spiked heel of the right one is fucking a rhinestone. The platforms are still solid, 2 inches of indestructible clear plastic, but the treads are wearing thin, and I'm not light on my feet. No, this thing goes on forever.
This fucking thing makes no sense. This sucks. It makes no sense. All right, we're done with these.
Yeah, we're done.
We're done. Sorry.
It's fine.
Sorry, folks.
The first one was all right.
Tim sucks.
No, it's just the website I use are just retarded. So
yeah, ballsdeep.com.
Yeah, exactly. Randy's Ball Deep.
Yeah. Funny thing about I was bringing up that I just saw about Balls Deep was there's always these funny sports names or whatever that people come up with, whatever. And mine was like, everyone's like, oh, Balls Deep, that one's a good one. I'm like, I called mine the money shots for a long time. Because in hockey, obviously, people are like, oh, money shot, like you scoring a goal or whatever, you can say whatever. I thought money shots was always good. So, like, that was our team name for a while. But guy names always have really good ones, like Twisted T and Plan B is one. And
when I did backyard wrestling, one of the guy tag teams was Money Shot, but then their valet girls that were their managers that became wrestlers was called Balls Deep.
Yeah, we have one called. I've been on one call team called the Shockers, and actually it was a picture of the Shocker. Yeah. We were on a team. There's a new team called Only Dads, well, there's only dads and there's only men or something like that. And it's like it looks like the OnlyFans stuff,
Yeah.
like all blue and white or whatever is their logo or whatever, but they're a hockey team and it's fucking funny.
There's one I saw that said only Rans.
Yeah.
Or only Dans. That's what only Dans.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of funny ones lately, but yeah, and then they got a lot of the stereotypical ones that people use, or whatever, the same funny names, but
It is funny.
it's cool. I like seeing those kind of unique, like funny names that people do, or whatever. Like there's one that we play hockey with, and their name's Drunk as Hall, as Brett Hall.
That's funny.
And it's the Blues colors or whatever, but their team's not that great, but it's so funny watching those kind of guys, and then like.
Aren't you guys the Gremlins or some shit?
No. So I play on the Gremlins or whatever, roller hockey or whatever, and Lincoln's played on them too, but I'm not part of the Gremlins at all. Like I tried to be part of their team or whatever, but they have like a tight knit group of people, and it's hard to crack that roster. And to be honest with you, after playing with all the guys, I like a lot of them. I don't care. I'd rather play with my other friends or whatever I do. So they're all cool guys, and I like playing with them. I've subbed with their teams or whatever and played them like in leagues or whatever, and I play with them in tournaments, but
Gotcha.
It's a St. Louis thing, they're a St. Louis roller name team or whatever, and they're all good guys. No, I'm not part of it. Whatever.
Gotcha. No biggie.
Yeah. So man, we made our 2-hour podcast, Tim.
Woo-hoo,
Another one. When are we gonna do a 3-hour one?
Hell no.
I think we need to shoot for a
Not
3-hour
this time.
one.
We could. You obviously have to leave though.
I mean, I have plenty of topics we could go to do that.
Well, if we get a really good topic one day, we could do the year in review like that.
Yeah, I think we could try to do a year for 3 hours. Year in review is going to be, obviously, we're going to talk about Christmas because it's coming up.
Yeah.
New Year's.
Everything that went on this year.
The trends that went on this year.
Memes and Hawk to a Girl. And shit like
God
that.
damn, I don't want to talk about that girl ever again. I'm still trying to figure out how that girl is still fucking relevant. But whatever, she drives me nuts. I don't care for her. Like I don't hate her as a person. I just don't care about seeing her anymore. Like there's nothing interesting about her that makes me like, hey, I want to watch it.
It was
that girl.
funny at the time.
Yeah.
But because it was all caught you off guard. But then after like 15 minutes, literally, it got old.
It's old just thinking about it now. Like, it hurts my brain just thinking about Hawk to
Spit on that thing.
It's like it was cool. Like you said, like the Halloween costume was probably the last chance, or like to keep relevance of her, like the thing and whatever, and then you put on the shirt, whatever. Like that sounded like a great idea. But after that, I don't want to hear about people talk about it in 2025.
Yeah.
And I think about it right now. I can't believe it's 2025, dude.
I know.
I mean, I remember we started doing these. I mean,
A quarter of the century.
we started doing these podcasts during COVID or after COVID? After COVID.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even seem like it was that long ago that we started doing these. And
No.
since then, nothing's really changed besides the president and maybe inflation and prices in the world. But besides that, like everything's kind of been the same. Like nothing's like really advancing.
Exciting. Yeah.
And there's nothing exciting.
Yeah.
Movies, maybe this year we had a couple good ones,
But-
but nothing like we usually
It
have.
stands out. Yeah. Well, you got to think because a lot of the movies we see now, or not so much now, but it's more beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I should say this for the end of the year one.
Yeah, we
did
did get some cool stuff. I mean, we got some good movies this year. Nothing extravagant, but like we got Deadpool and Wolverine, which was cool, and we got like the Romulus movie, and like some other good things that came out like that we might be fans of or whatever. But like there's like the Gladiator movie, people came out and like, oh, it's so good. The reviews on it, everyone says it tanked. Yeah, I mean, people said they made a lot of money. I think it's bullshit. What I've heard from a lot of people that are big fans said, obviously it's 20 years later they've redid Gladiator. None of the same people obviously are in it, which makes sense. They said the action's good, but the storyline sucks and makes no sense, and they rush everything. And I'll be honest, and I don't care what anybody says. This is not me being racist. This is just me being a realist again with the history. There was nobody like Denzel Washington back in those days that were in leadership. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. I don't care what anybody fucking says. It's not realistic. You got to stay realistic with the times.
You're stealing my Game of Thrones joke.
Is it?
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it.
It's like Game of Thrones is so inaccurate because if you watch how there's more. Game of Thrones was first, right? Or the second? No, the second. Game of Thrones was the prequel, basically. I'm sorry. House of Dragons was the prequel to Game of Thrones.
Right.
Yet there was black people in House of Dragons and none in
That's true too.
Game of Thrones.
That's true. And again,
like
this
they
is
get rid of them.
Obviously, we're gonna play the card, and they have to put all these people back there. And I'm not saying there wasn't black people back in those days, but there was nobody in leadership, in power in the Gladiator days. Like that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like Denzel Washington. I already knew the movies.
Washington. You sound like your mom now.
I don't care. I'm a Missouri guy, and
You're gonna be farty one day.
40. I just don't I don't agree with him in that role. I just don't. He's not that kind of guy in that role. It just doesn't work. I mean, I'm not saying he can't act and do that. Of course he can. He's a great actor.
Just not for that role.
It's not believable. And when I saw it advertised in a movie, when I went and saw it, I'm like, this is gonna fucking flop. I just knew it right away. I'm like, this is gonna be a flop. And all the people that are huge like fans, like during the era of when those movies came out, Gladiator, Troy, 300, like that was the hype of those movies. Why are you guys making this movie 20 years later? Like you should have kept it in around that time, made it Gladiator too.
It was a cash cow in there. They're trying to see if they can make more money off of it, and they can't.
I'm just so sick of them doing this. And it's like, what's his name? Pascal, whatever, Pedro Pascal. I like him as an actor. I don't like him as that role either. Just don't see him as that role. I mean, he maybe he's good, and maybe I'm just being biased and being closed-minded, but
still,
it's just what it is.
No, what I was trying to say was, to you interrupted me, that you got to think about a lot of the movies at the beginning of this year were leftover or from unfinished the writer's strike.
Mm-hmm.
So people were rushing to get shit out so they can make their money. That's why a lot of the movies beginning of the year, at least beginning of the year, sucks because of that. And we had to suffer sitting through a lot of these because that were boring as fuck because of they were rushing them out. So that's what I was going to say. Well, while you're on your phone, I guess, is that it?
No, I was looking for another topic, but nope, that's it. I think all my topics have been used and abused by you.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yep, so that was the podcast, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope enjoyed our Thanksgiving /wrestling / Tim's terrible takes at the end.
I would never do Mad Libs again. Fine.
No more ad libs, unless you're an angry lib.
Unless I'm making myself.
Yep. So hope you guys enjoyed our podcast. We'll be back probably for, I'd say, either one or maybe two more by the end of the year. I'd probably say more one is realistic.
At least one, yeah.
We'll try to go make a new.
It is December.
It is. We'll try to make a record. Maybe make it a 2.5 hour podcast. 3 seems like a stretch, but I think we could do 2.5 hours, no problem.
Oh yeah, I think we always make over 2 hours.
2 hours and 10 minutes right now.
One that's like barely over 2.
Yeah, so we're long form podcasters here. So
we like to talk.
Yeah, I like to talk on and off air.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
All right, guys. As always, remember, stay in your milk. Stay out of school. Drink your drugs.
Don't stay scared.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
Later.